against the Oilers. Carlos Correa homered in the bottom of the 11th. Astros beat the Yankees 3-2 in Game 2 of the ALCS. Monday Night Football tonight at Lambeau, Packers and Lions. The news service of Mattress Firm. For a limited time, take home a free adjustable base with purchase of $6.99. Plus, get up to $400 in savings and enjoy 0% APR for 6 years. Zero down, zero do-it signing. Shop the same big sale online or in-store. 5:07, and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager believes every society needs norms.
The notion that society can have norms is very important. And what the left does is chaos. They hate freedom and they hate order. Any society needs it, because when the guardrails are broken, there's chaos and bad things will happen.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO and founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare contracts, and in the process started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. Timeshare is the only thing that you can buy that you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check to fill out any amount they want for annual maintenance and assessment fees. Sound crazy? The crazy thing is, this never ends. Stop the insanity today. Call my office now. I guarantee if we can't cancel your timeshare contract, you'll pay nothing.
Were you lied to when buying a timeshare and want out? Get the facts about timeshare cancellation. Call Wesley now for your free information kit. 800-513-4444. 800-513-4444. 800-513-4444.
Custom designed and constructed homes are only as good as their foundation. Likewise, choosing a custom home builder to build your forever family home is the foundational decision for the biggest investment of your life. Trust the experience and vision of McNaughton Development to make your dream home a reality. McNaughton has a proven track record of building high-quality, award-winning custom-designed homes throughout the Chicagoland suburbs and will guide you through every aspect of the home building process, from finding the perfect lot to working with preferred architects, project managers, and in-house designers for selections and customizations, to a successful walkthrough and close of your forever home. Find out more about partnering with McNaughton Development to turn your home vision into a reality. Visit McNaughtonDevelopment.com to explore everything currently available, including Lakeside Point and Waterview Estates of Burr Ridge, Copperleaf of Downers Grove, Chestnut River Point of Naperville, Bluff Point of Orland Park, and Madison Estates of Hinsdale. Visit McNaughtonDevelopment.com.
Want to hear something amazing? Discover matches all the cash back you earn at the end of your first year automatically, with no limit to how much they'll match. Millions of people a year are getting their cash back matched. Discover Cash Back Match. What are you waiting for? Learn more at discover.com/cashbackmatch.
5:10 AM 560 Traffic Center time, and here is Jim Telemonte.
CTA Blue Line trains are standing at Kedzie and Holman right now due to police activity. I-57 outbound, the roadway is blocked between 127th and Sibley. This is due to a collision involving a car and a pedestrian. Outbound Stevenson, traffic is tight Cicero to First Avenue with work in the two right lanes. About 40 minutes, Lakeshore Drive 355, inbound 5 to 34. West side, there's a fire on Pullman near Chicago Avenue. South side, police activity for shooting around 52nd and Peoria. Columbus Drive still blocked downtown for marathon cleanup. The Columbus Day Parade runs along State Street later today. I'm Jim Telemonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answers starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center and our meteorologist Steve Williams.
Today, mostly sunny, cool, and the high at 52. Some clouds tonight, low 41. Cloudy and a few showers tomorrow, the high 62. Partly sunny, windy day on Wednesday with a high at 51. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently 38 at O'Hare, 40 along the lakefront, 41 Midway. And with a frost advisory up this morning, it is an even freezing 32 in Aurora. Your next news update, 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts next on AM 560, The Answer.
Hi, this is Dr. Mike Andriano of Trinity Holistic Health Center. We live in interesting times. The world seems to make less sense every year. More adults and children struggle with anxiety and sleep issues. Over the past couple years, more than half of the clients coming into my office report poor sleep or problems with anxiety. Those who suffer with these issues know that they impact every aspect of their life and seem like torture. Both issues are signs of deeper health problems. Inflammation drives a process that causes anxiety and poor sleep. Anti-inflammatory diets, herbs, and even medications don't address the root cause of inflammation, but we do. My practice at Trinity Holistic Health Center concentrates on finding and fixing the root cause of your health problem, not just covering up the symptoms.
If this sounds like you, go to lifedoc.am or call 1-833-LIFEDOC and learn how you can get help to end your anxiety and get a restful night's sleep once and for all. That's lifedoc.am or call 1-833-LIFE-DOC.
I'm Gary Rabine of the Rabine Group and the podcast Ditch Digger CEO. One of my favorite things to do is golf at our exclusive Bull Valley Golf Club in Woodstock. Just 55 minutes northwest of O'Hare and 35 minutes south of Lake Geneva. 5 minutes from the Metro line. 250 acres of amazing terrain, oak and red pine forest, native prairie and marsh. It feels like you played 4 different courses in 18 holes. Golf Digest rated Bull Valley the 30th most challenging championship-style golf course in America. One of the best courses in Illinois, and the track the best golfers want to play. Good golfers, Bull Valley will make you great. Bad golfers like me, Bull Valley will make you better. A world-class staff and 2 amazing teaching pros, simulators, and a beautiful instructional range. I've got the greatest offer on the planet in private championship golf. If you live in or near Chicago, join our Chicago membership in the next 10 days and get 18 months for $2,500. You heard it, $2,500 to be a member until April 2021. Email Gary at bullvalleygolfclub.com and play championship golf tomorrow. That's Gary at bullvalleygolfclub.com.
Hi, this is Dan Frio with the Mortgage Update. Is the lack of having enough money in the bank holding you back from buying a home? The state of Illinois is helping first-time home buyers with this issue with a program you can only get through a limited number of lenders that's hand-picked by the state, and I'm one of those preferred lenders. This program is a grant up to $10,000 to help you with your down payment and also cover closing costs. Stop paying your landlord's mortgage and get on the path to buying your own home. Since this is a grant program, funding can run out at any time, so call now and reach out to me personally. Just pick up the phone and call 844-775-LOAN. That's 844-775-LOAN to reach me personally, or visit me on the web at windmortgage.com. That's windmortgage.com.
Parkside Lending, LLC is an Illinois residential mortgage licensee and an equal housing lender. NMLS 176162. This hourly segment is brought to you by CharlesEquipment.com, keeping you powered up no matter what the conditions.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy, and this is the closest thing you're going to get to an admission of guilt. Hunter Biden stepping down from the board of the Chinese-backed private equity company that invested in a company we talked about last week, CGN, an investor in CGN pleading guilty just days before Trump took office to stealing U.S. nuclear secrets. That Chinese global nuclear group, CGN. So again, Burisma, part of your new political lexicon, as well as CGN. Hunter Biden stepping down. He, along with the stepson of John Kerry, board members of this Rosemont group in this private equity concern. Statement released on behalf of Hunter Biden.
Yes.
Courtship of Hunter's father here. Hunter always understood that his father would be guided entirely and unequivocally by established U.S. policy, regardless of its effects on Hunter's professional interests.
Oh, okay.
Yes, of course he did.
Yes.
He never anticipated the barrage of false charges against both him and his father by the President of the United States.
Oh, my gosh. And
Biden spoke last night in Iowa about this valiant move from his son to step down.
I can tell you now, if I am your president, next president, I'm going to build on the squeaky clean, transparent environment that we had in the Obama-Biden White House, and no one in my family or associated with me will be involved in any foreign operation whatsoever, period. End of story.
He also said no family members will ever work in the West Wing either.
Why? Why would no family member be involved in any foreign business under President Joe Biden? Why not? Because it's an inherent conflict of interest?
Yeah. That's what he should have said, but he didn't say it. But he said it without saying it.
Because if he was doing nothing wrong, as both Joe Biden and all the Democrats have protested, if this was just a matter of digging up dirt on a political opponent, as the phrase goes, then why would Hunter Biden step down from the board? Why would Joe Biden make that commitment? Because there's nothing wrong here. Oh, so it is a conflict of interest.
Mm-hmm.
Under a Biden administration, more from young Hunter.
Oh, please.
Through his attorney, of course.
Yeah, because I don't think he worded this himself.
Under Biden administration, Hunter will readily comply with any and all guidelines or standards that President Biden may issue to address purported conflicts of interest or the appearance of such, including any restrictions to overseas business interests. He will continue to keep his father personally uninvolved in his business affairs.
Oh.
Continue to.
His father got him involved in the first place.
Well, he got more, vice versa. It's hard to know exactly what the sequencing is because they're so opaque about the whole matter, because there was nothing to see here. There was nothing to see here, but we need to take these steps. I need Hunter to step down from the private equity concern. I need to make a big proclamation about the sort of ethics policies that will punctuate my administration. But there's nothing wrong. There's nothing to see. There certainly isn't anything to investigate. And of course, this is a way for Hunter to, and Joe, the courtship of Hunter's father, the whole group of them, and seeing as that family tree is increasingly without forks, this is a way to get attention off them, in addition to re-energize his flagging campaign, but to keep it squarely on President Trump, because in the for the desire to appear even-handed, even some members of the D.C. press corps felt compelled to mention this Hunter Biden matter, to ask Joe Biden questions on the campaign trail about Hunter, about conflicts of interest. So it had to be addressed, and they were searching for weeks to come up with an answer. So here's their latest and greatest answer. That's what this is. A way to try to cauterize the wound. Interesting little piece, too. One of the other things that was attempted here, and this was what Joe Biden was attempting when he made the addition there that you just heard of, also no members of my family will work in the West Wing, as if any were qualified. Joe Biden, the comparison between Hunter Biden and the Trump children. You know, Hunter is to Joe what Ivanka is to
President Trump.
To Donald,
Yeah.
right.
I trust Ivanka 100% more than I would trust Hunter Biden.
It's not even a matter of who you trust or who you don't trust. It's just a question of, are these the same types of problems? And they're not. Mark Lauder, who is the director of strategic communications for the Trump campaign, wrote this commentary that was posted to Real Clear Politics. Ivanka Trump spent years in business prior to her father's leap in politics. As part of building and growing her business, she filed over 120 trademarks to protect her brand and name before Trump announced his candidacy for president. It would have been business malpractice for her not to secure legal protections, especially when countries like China routinely engage in corporate theft, as has happened. Meanwhile, Hunter Biden had zero experience in Ukraine and zero experience in the international gas market. But while Joe Biden was vice president, of course, Burisma, the Ukrainian gas company, was paying him $50,000 to $100,000 a month.
Oh, my God.
He had no business experience in the private equity space, yet received a $1.5 billion investment from China's national bank. Both of these developments, these business opportunities, occurring while Joe Biden was leading the Obama administration's policy in both Ukraine and China. So that is markedly different than anything resembling Ivanka Trump's business interests or her business interests vis-a-vis President Trump. The other thing here is that, to our knowledge, I haven't seen any reporting on this, there has been no President Trump interference in action on behalf of any of Ivanka Trump's business concerns. He didn't say to President Zelensky, hey, buy some more of my daughter's crap and give it out to all the Ukrainian families.
She's a lovely clothing line.
Yeah. So that whole additional spin cycle on the left of Ivanka is to Donald what Hunter is to Biden is a bunch of bull jive. And you know what? The Bidens know that they weren't selling this, and so thus Hunter stepping down.
And we'll never see him on the campaign trail.
Joe making the proclamation. I don't think you'd ever see him on the campaign trail anyway. This is a guy who apparently doesn't fare well under scrutiny because when there's been scrutiny applied, he hasn't fared well. That's how you know.
It's like a hot, steaming cup of information to start your day. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Tom Killoran Photography is ready to memorialize your next event with photos that come to life and preserve the memories for generations. They can accommodate your large group photos to individual portraits, wallet size to panoramic. They can even print your photos on location as a take-home keepsake for your party guests. Visit KilloranPhotography.com. AM 560 The Answer hired Tom Killoran Photography for our annual charity golf outing, and the finished product was amazing. Book Tom Killoran Photography for your upcoming corporate event, family reunion, wedding, bar mitzvah, or any event you want to capture forever. And those old family videos you have on VHS tape, it's time to preserve them forever. Tom Killoran Photography can transfer your beloved memories to DVD and can restore your older faded photos or enlarge them. Visit KilloranPhotography.com. KilloranPhotography.com. KILLORAN Photography.com.
Mike Lindell, the CEO and creator of MyPillow, so well known that President Trump mentioned him at his rally. Or maybe he didn't. Let's see if he did. Nope. All right. Well, we all know that he mentioned him at his rally on Friday in Minnesota because of all the wonderful ads that he has. And right now, Mike Lindell is offering deep discounts on all products. Right now, you can get a full body pillow, which is normally $89.99 for only $29.99. All products come with a 60-day money-back guarantee and a 10-year warranty. So go to MyPillow.com, click on the radio listener special box, and type Amy, A-M-Y, in that box, and voila, 30% off everything. Mattress toppers, deep discounts on those Giza cotton sheets, and much, much more. MyPillow.com, promo code Amy.
This is Hugh Hewitt for Townhall.com. On my radio show in recent days, I've been asking Beltway reporters if they think House Democrats run the risk of turning the impeachment inquiry into a kangaroo court by repeatedly breaking with the precedents of impeachment past. They all agreed, yes, there is a risk, though each of them evaluated the size of that risk differently. Simply put, Democrats are moving forward without a full floor vote and without the legal standards that have marked impeachments throughout our nation's history. White House counsel Pat Cipollone points out, and I quote, precedent for the rights to cross-examine witnesses, call witnesses, and present evidence dates back nearly 150 years. Yet the committees have decided to deny the president these elementary rights and protections that form the basis of the American justice system, close quote. This is not just about the president. Speaker Pelosi and her party are rejecting the deeply embedded ideals of due process for the accused. It's a terrible mistake. I'm Hugh Hewitt.
Sponsored by ADF, Alliance Defending Freedom.
Imagine your son excited to go to school each day, a school where he gets to throw snowballs and play tag, where his teachers understand that boys learn differently, and where he gets the one-on-one advice he needs to become a man of character. I have friends who send their sons there. Two things they love. First, at Northridge Prep, every teacher is a role model. Through the advisory program, all students have a faculty mentor who looks out for your son like an older brother. They have regular conversations about being tough, generous, and setting goals. Secondly, Northridge Prep's common sense approach to cell phones. Cell phones are powerful tools, but they don't belong in school. 0 distractions, 0 cell phones. My friends appreciate how much more social and outgoing their sons are at school. It's a paper and pen approach that just works. I encourage you to learn all about Northridge Prep by attending their open house on Sunday, October 20th. That's like this Sunday. This coming Sunday, October 20th. Register online at northridgeprep.org. That's northridgeprep.org.
AM 560. The Answer.
Dan and Amy, and just a little bit more on Hunter Biden. The statement, the included in the statement that was issued by Hunter per his resignation from this Rosemont Seneca private equity firm.
And I'm sure he wrote that statement himself.
To date, Hunter has not received any compensation for being on the board of directors. He hasn't received any return on investment. There have been no distributions to shareholders since Hunter obtained his equity interest. Moreover, Hunter played no role in directing or making investments. Hunter intends to resign from the board on or by October 31st, 2019. So there's nothing to see here. Well, yeah. The problem is Peter Schweitzer, who's been on this story from the beginning and was documented in his book Secret Empires, which I encourage you to pick up. It's hardly just about the Bidens. It includes actually a number of political families, Mitch McConnell, including our very own Daley's in Peter Schweitzer's Secret Empires book, and Richie Daley's interest in China, among other things. So again, as we talked about, in addition to acquiring $1.5 billion in investments from the Chinese state bank, Bank of China, less than 2 weeks after accompanying his father, Joe, on an official visit to Beijing back in 2013. That's when that happened. That was in addition to a first-of-its-kind deal the Chinese government awarded Biden's private equity firm, a deal that allowed the firm to focus on international acquisitions. With the backing of the state-owned Bank of China, one of the country's big four financial institutions, the Biden firm had access to the types of deals that most Western firms only dreamed of, including IPOs of state-owned companies. Noting that the Biden firm invested in strategically sensitive assets in both China and the United States. And we mentioned, of course, CGN, that nuclear company, state-owned nuclear company, in which you had an individual plead out to charges of stealing U.S. nuclear secrets. So that's actually what was going on, that is now described by the D.C. press corps as nothing to see here. And by the way, won't even be indulged by many hosts. When Lee Zeldin, congressman from New York, was on with Aaron Burnett on CNN, he tried to raise the issue of Joe Biden. He gets cut off with the typical statement from these cable news talk show hosts and the D.C. press corps. No, there's no evidence of Joe Biden doing anything wrong, and this is something that has been looked into, and we need to talk right now about what the president did or didn't do. It is possible to talk about both things. You'll note that on this show and many others that are of a center-right perspective, we're happy to talk about the president's phone call and the whole impeachment melodrama. And we're also going to talk about Joe Biden and Hunter Biden because, as the Bidens have just conceded over the last couple of days, what they were doing was at least an appearance of a conflict of interest. At minimum, it was an appearance of a conflict of interest. It probably was a conflict of interest ethically, and it possibly could have been something criminal. Possibly. It's worthy of being looked into. You can look in to both, can't you? You can walk and chew gum at the same time in politics, can't you? I guess not if you're employed by CNN.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, is this Indigenous Peoples Day or Columbus Day? And then later, the CTA strike. Will it happen? The latest on that. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. Good morning, everyone. 37 degrees at 5:31, and a frost advisory is up for the west and northwest suburbs. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer wants a vote on President Trump's decision to withdraw U.S. troops from Syria.
If we don't keep the pressure on, then ISIS will resurge. It's absolutely a given that they will come back.
That's former Defense Secretary James Mattis, who's saying pulling troops out of the region will force ISIS to pick activity back up. Defense Secretary Mark Esper says that decision to withdraw U.S. troops was to avoid putting them in harm's way.
I spoke with the president after discussions with the rest of the national security team, and he directed that we begin a deliberate withdrawal of forces from northern Syria.
Esper on CBS's Face the Nation. Senator Ted Cruz says he'll visit Hong Kong in support of the pro-democracy demonstrations taking place in that country. The Texas Republican on CBS's Face the Nation.
We've seen over 2 million people come to the streets standing up for freedom, standing up for democracy, and standing up against the oppression of the Chinese communist regime.
Cruz saying everything that has unfolded in recent days with the NBA shows how powerful the protests actually are in Hong Kong. Emergency officials in New Orleans say they'll work as long as it takes to try and locate a man they believe may still be alive underneath the partially collapsed Hard Rock Hotel. Negotiations continue in the nearly month-long UAW strike against General Motors. Emergency crews are at the scene of a deadly car versus pedestrian crash this morning along I-57 in Posen. Chicago celebrating Columbus Day. The parade begins at 1 p.m. today. It runs along State Street from Lake to Van Buren. And the City of Chicago Police Department still investigating a shooting that left 5 dead over the weekend on the northwest side. Bulls get their first win of the preseason by beating the defending champs, Toronto 105-91. Blackhawks continue their homestand tonight against the Oilers. And the Bears return to action next Sunday. They'll take on the Saints at Soldier Field. They will likely do so without Kyle Long. The Bears could be shutting down the offensive lineman for the season. 5:33. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity wants the Democrats to take it to a vote.
They want their coup trial. Okay, fine. It's got to be fair. That's why the White House is saying you're not getting access to anybody until you have a vote in the House. Let them go on record saying they support this madness. They are the willing accomplices in this coup attempt.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
Hi, it's Mark Olson.
And Greg Olson.
The boys from Crumweedy Home Pros.
Call Crumweedy! Yep, that's us.
Listen, we know it was a horrible winter,
followed by a horrible spring.
You may have held off thinking about getting your project done with the crazy weather we've had, but we want you to know we prepared for that.
Our pros are ready to work overtime if needed to get your project done before the next horrible winter.
No, not another rough winter. This past one was bad enough.
Call us today, and we'll get it done right, and we'll get it done now.
Call Crumweedy!
Whoa, guys, don't forget, we offer 12 months, same as cash. Now, go ahead, carry on.
Roofs, gutters, windows, and siding.
You know you can trust Crumweedy to do a great job and give you a fair price.
630-595-8020.
And watch out for the door-to-door fly-by-night guys. Here today, gone forever. You deserve better.
Call us now for special offers on roofs, windows, siding, and gutters.
Call Crumweedy!
630-595-8020.
Crumweedy Home Pros. We're ready.
This is Attorney Stephen Leahy, host of the IRS Radio Hour, heard right here on AM 560 every Sunday evening at 5 o'clock. Let me tell you about Bill. Bill's business slowed down and he fell behind on his taxes. Instead of filing his tax return, he decided to wait until he could pay. Well, 1 year turned to 2, turned to 3. Then the IRS threatened to contact his customers, take his house, his bank account, and his passport. Well, Bill hired me. We filed all of his tax returns and an appeal to slow the IRS down. Then we worked out an installment agreement based on how much he could pay, not on how much he owed. Now Bill can rely on the IRS protection plan. We will file his future tax returns and keep the IRS off his back so Bill can focus on growing his business. If you have questions about the IRS, you can get a copy of my book, Deal with Your IRS Problem Today, to learn the secrets of solving your IRS problem and save your business, your marriage, and your reputation. Call 312-664-6649. or go to freeirsbook.com.
Blue Emu supports healthy muscles and joints. Blue Emu works fast and you won't stink.
Hi, I'm Paul Cutler, pastor of Grace Lutheran Church in Streamwood, a proud donor of AM 560's Food for the Poor campaign. Grace is a gathering of regular people who love God, love each other, and reach out to others with the love of Christ. Mercy Community, a spirit-filled black church, and Iglesia Jerusalem, an Hispanic congregation, also meet on Grace's campus. We all work together to make a difference in the world. If you've had little or no experience with church, Grace is the place for you. If you've had a less than great experience with church, Grace is the place for you. If you want to learn more about God, more about yourself, and more about life, I personally invite you to check us out at gracestheplace.net or call us at 630-289-3996 or like us on Facebook at Grace is the Place ST. That's gracestheplace.net or 630-289-3996 or like us on Facebook at Grace is the Place ST. I look forward to meeting you.
It's 5:37. Let's get an update on the roads. AM 560 traffic center time and Jim Telemonti.
I-57 is still closed outbound between 127th and Sibley due to an incident involving a car and a pedestrian. We're seeing heavy traffic on the outbound Stevenson Cicero to Central. Road work in the two right lanes is now in the process of clearing, but is jamming up some of the traffic headed toward Midway on this Monday morning. 40 minutes, Lakeshore Drive to 355. Downtown Columbus is still blocked. Roosevelt, Balboa, Marathon cleanup. Columbus should reopen by 6 this morning. There is some traffic headed to O'Hare this morning. We're seeing delays on the outbound Kennedy starting at Nagel. 25 minutes downtown to the airport. The other expressways are fairly light for now. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center, sunny and cool today. High of 52, clouds overnight, 41, and some showers tomorrow, high 62. Currently 38. Next news coming up at 6. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by In the Know with Wealth Management Group, hosted by Craig Bolanos. Heard Sunday mornings at 10.
Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. We have another police shooting. White officer, black female. And so this, of course, is being forced through the prism of race. This is Fort Worth, Texas. There were protests over the weekend after the killing of 28-year-old Atiana Jefferson.
And there was a huge one last night, too.
So there was body cam footage. The officer responding to a call from a neighbor doing a wellness check. The neighbor saw his neighbor, Miss Atiana Jefferson's door open and the lights on, so he was concerned, called police non-emergency number.
Yeah, and this is in the middle of the night. It was about 2:30 in the morning.
Right. 2 officers show up on this wellness check, and one you see with a flashlight going up to the back door.
The video appearing to show the officer walking the perimeter of the home. He's not heard identifying himself, later looking through a window with a flashlight, then suddenly shouting commands and firing.
Put your hands up! Show me your hands!
And they heard someone creeping around outside. She went to investigate at the window. An officer was on the other side who shouted commands, and before she had a moment to respond, he shot her to death.
That neighbor now questioning his decision to call police.
I feel bad because had I not called the police department, she would probably still be alive today.
Yesterday, Fort Worth police held a press conference to provide some additional information of what they know to be true. There's another press conference scheduled for this morning after the officer involved in the shooting is interviewed. But this is what they had to say to the public yesterday.
2 officers were dispatched at 2:25 a.m. and arrived at approximately 2:29 a.m. Officers parked nearby, not in front of Miss Jefferson's residence, and they approached the house on foot to investigate. The released body camera footage shows the officers walk around to the back of the house. The officer observed a person through a rear window in the residence and fired a shot at that person. The officer did not announce that he was a police officer prior to shooting. What the officer observed and why he did not announce police will be addressed as the investigation continues. An 8-year-old male, Miss Jefferson's nephew, was inside the room during this time.
Yeah, the 2 were playing video games at the time when this happened. But he shot her from outside her home while she was inside her home. And then they were claiming that maybe she had a weapon found inside the house, and they were trying to associate that and see if that had anything to do with it. I think this was just an overzealous, jumpy cop who should have taken a deep breath and relaxed first before shooting at her.
There was a gun found in the home, but that was asked at that press conference that was held, and the officer holding the press conference would not respond to it. There's no evidence and there's no statement to suggest that she had the gun in her, on her at the time of the shooting, or that she was in any way making a threatening move toward the police officer. The reporting suggests that she was there. She walked to the window to investigate what was going on because you had somebody with a flashlight on your back porch, and so that's
at 2:30 in the morning.
Understandable response.
But he fired through the bedroom window and fatally shot her. I mean, but the thing is this a racial issue? No, I just think it's a dumb cop, overzealous, jumpy cop issue. I think he would have shot her if she was white or she was black, but it's turning into a racial issue.
We understand the police officer who fired the shot had been on the force for about a year.
Mm-hmm.
So apparently a relatively new police officer. Lawyer Lee Merritt, representing the family, who also was one of the lawyers representing the family of Botham Jean in Dallas, he said the murder of this innocent woman represents a breaking point. Atatiana Jefferson should be enjoying her family today. A clear message has been sent. We are no longer safe in our own homes.
And I think neighbors can learn something from this, too. Before you call the cops, just go on over there and shut her door for her. Because sometimes people go in their homes and forget to shut their doors, or they leave their keys in the door, in the front door lock, not knowing. And why did he have to call the cops?
Well, obviously it's not his fault.
No,
and
I know,
you could. I mean, if it looks like it's possibly a break-in, you could understand why he would.
Doesn't want to get his prints on the door?
Well, maybe because he believes the house could possibly be in the process of being burglarized, and he thought this was a job for the police. The man in question is an older gentleman.
Yeah, I saw his interview.
So maybe not. Maybe we're not going to blame the guy calling the police non-emergency number to just say, "Hey, check this out," because this is out of place. Miss Jefferson wouldn't leave her door open like that at
2:30 in the morning.
At 2 in the morning, yeah.
312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line, 64636. Type in DA, then a quick comment.
Now, again, the body cam video ends with the officer shouting, "Put your hands up, show me your hands," and then the gunshot rings out. So that's what we know to this point. Again, we know there was a gun recovered, but nobody's putting it in Miss Jefferson's hands. And even to the extent that it was in her hands because she sees somebody creeping on her back porch, potentially. This is supposition. This hasn't been reported, but it's logical. The castle doctrine applies in every direction, including with someone, a resident who believes that there's a possible intruder on her porch because that individual has not identified himself as a police officer, something the Fort Worth police disclosed.
Yeah, he did not announce himself as a police officer before firing through her bedroom window. And you have to do that. That is part of your job. So, of course, you probably thought she was under attack or some intruders were going to come in and hurt her. And it did. A police officer ended up killing her. But is this a racial issue? I think he would have done it if she was white, black, Hispanic, whatever.
NAACP, unacceptable. The acts of yet another trained, quote-unquote, police officer have resulted in the death of Atatiana Jefferson.
She's the sixth person, by the way, since June who's been killed by a Fort Worth police officer.
The issue, too, that will be raised, I have no doubt, is if this is a predominantly black neighborhood, are police taking a different posture? Are they more itchy with their trigger fingers because they're going into what they know to be a predominantly black neighborhood as compared to if they were going into a predominantly white neighborhood? Is that a question that's going to be asked and debated? I assume that some version of that will be. This is a terrible case. Miss Jefferson should not be dead.
No.
And again, based on what we know right now, this is not a good shoot. this is not a good shoot. There's no reason to believe that
No.
there was any racial animus or racial motivation. So there's all
She's-
kinds of facts and evidence or facts not in evidence being assumed by those who force us to put everything through the racial prism, demand that things be put through a racial prism. Same thing in the Botham Jean case.
I mean, this is a woman. She had her whole life ahead of her. She's a beautiful person, community person. She graduated pre-med at Xavier University, was close to her family. The reason why she was up, she's been taking care of her mother recently, and she went in to spend some time with her nephew and check on her house, and she gets killed.
And thank God the kid wasn't hurt as well.
Oh,
I mean,
thank God.
here's the thing, and you understand police have a difficult job, and you want to defer to police officers who are trying to do their job to protect and serve. So you consider and you try to empathize with the police officer in these various situations and all these cases that we've talked about. Well, most of them. Some of them are so obvious that you don't empathize with the police officer. But in most of them. However, you also have to empathize with families like the Jefferson family who lost their auntie in the case of this 8-year-old kid that she was playing video games with, her 8-year-old nephew.
He's never going to be the same.
You have to empathize with the families and put yourself in their position, too, of wrongly losing a family member at the hands of anybody, much less a police officer. So that empathy has to run in both directions if you want people to have trust in the police and you want to try to get past some of the race racketeers rhetoric and get to some, get to something where there's a get to a place where there truly is a belief in equal justice before the law and equal protection by law enforcement officers.
But they didn't even try knocking on the front door before the shooting. And all they had to do was announce who they were and if she was in any danger. And they didn't do that.
Well, yes, certainly not announcing that you're an officer when you're on somebody's property like that.
Get off her property.
I can understand. Well, do you think that there's somebody being burglarized? Well, you still would announce that you're an officer, at least as I understand it.
Yeah, and that's even what the police chief is saying, too. So,
Bill on the north suburbs.
Good morning. How are you?
Hello.
Hey, I think we should give Al Sharpton a pager, and all the police departments around the country can call him when there's an incident, and he can let them know either a black or a white policeman can be sent in.
Okay. Thanks for the call, Bill. Email in from, I think, police. This is what you're getting now, meaning new police, because most of the good cops have left the force due to the upper management attacks. Okay.
yeah, and it bears repeating that he has been on the force since April 2018, this rookie cop.
Philip in Blue Island.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you, Amy. Last year, I think there were like 1,200 shootings across America of police killing American citizens, and 25% of those that were killed were black people. Being us that we're only 13% of the population, there seems to be a problem with police. I mean, even with in New York or all over America, police are killing black people at an excessive rate. And you can say it's not race. You can say it's, training or lack of sensitivity. Again, this guy went past 2 doors that were open. Didn't knock on either one of the doors, didn't holler in. And he just goes in and kills this woman.
Well, he shot her from the outside. Yeah. It's horrible. I agree. This is awful.
Yeah, well, Phil, let me ask you a question. If you want to play the proportional statistics game, do you want to play the proportional statistics game when it comes to the commission of violent crime?
See, again, you talk about race racketeering. What are you doing?
You just said that there were 1,200 police.
That's the numbers.
Yes, and so if you just want to talk about numbers, let's talk about numbers. If you want to play the proportional statistics game, do you want to play that game or not?
I'm not here to just talk about numbers. That's what want to talk about now.
No, that's what you started the call with.
Why are you upset? The woman is dead, and I'm telling
Philip, I put you on hold. Listen up, because you can't listen. You just talk over people. Super annoying. You want to have a conversation or not? You want to be an adult or not? You started the call by saying, and I don't know that these statistics are true, but let's take them as true for the purpose of conversation. 1,200 people killed by police last year, and a quarter of those were black. You said blacks represent 13% of the population, but 25% of those killed by police. There seems to be something wrong there. You're using a data point to extrapolate to a conclusion. My question to you is, do you want to use that same approach when it comes to the commission of crimes, particularly violent crimes? Do you want to play that game and extrapolate from one data point in both directions, or do you want to just do it in one direction? And if you want to do it in one direction, what does that say of the quality of your argument in the direction that you're offering? Now, do you want to try and answer that question, or do you want to bitch at me more? Philip in Blue Island.
Just so you both know, last year there are 689 fatal shootings by police.
Well, Philip off by a factor of 2. That's good for him. Go ahead, Philip.
No, you're talking about playing a game, but it's not a game when.
Bye, Philip. John and Lombard, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily a black or white issue. It's a neighborhood character issue. If this is a high crime neighborhood, that's a lot different. You said about how a cop will respond to a black neighborhood, to a white neighborhood. If it's a crime neighborhood, they know that going in. And the people that are getting down on the cop, the white cop shooting black people again, here we go again. Why don't they go to the neighborhood and say, why is this neighborhood, why is there crime in this neighborhood? Go after the people that are causing the crime. People can't live in peace from either side. So clean up the bad guys. The cops are not the bad guys here. That it really sucks what happened. I feel sorry for this young man who killed her.
Oh my God!
They could have approached it differently, but he's been on the job a year. Like I said, the whole situation is a bad situation, but it's not black and white. It's crime versus non-crime.
Thanks for the call,
it's a
John.
stupid, overzealous police officer who didn't do his job and announce himself before firing from outside into her bedroom and killing her.
Well, we don't know. I don't know anything about this neighborhood in which Miss Jefferson lives, so I don't know if there's a high incidence of crime or not. I don't know what the composition of the neighborhood is. I'm just suggesting that if that is the case, that it's a majority black neighborhood, then that will factor in. You're going to hear that part of the conversation to say, well, police responded differently because it's a majority black neighborhood. And I don't know if it's a high crime neighborhood or not. But if it's majority black, they're going to say police responded differently because it was majority black than they would have had it been a majority white neighborhood, regardless of what the crime stats in the particular neighborhood are. I'm just saying you're going to hear that, and this is going to be a discussion point because why would they have done that? Why wouldn't he have announced? If it was a white neighborhood, they would just go and knock on the door. I mean, that's what you're going to hear. That's going to have to be addressed, starting with the Fort Worth Police Department. But this is what we know to be true now. I don't think there's any way that you can say that this was a good shoot. And I'd like to see more blanks filled in, but there's no reason that the officer should have been as aggressive as he was doing a wellness check. Even if he thought that there was a burglar in the home, which how would he know? He just sees a silhouette or he sees somebody through the window. And to the extent he saw it was a woman, that would
It was a person you were supposed to be doing a well-being check on in the first place.
And to the extent he thought, and also to the extent he saw it was a woman, that would disarm me even more.
I know.
If it was a woman. Not to mention, I don't know who's living in the house and who isn't. But even if it was, the officer perceived it to be somebody in there improperly, you identify yourself, you tell them to halt before you shoot.
Start with the front door.
Well,
when you do well-being checks, normally when
Hold-
well-being checks are done, you knock on the first door. That's what you do first.
There were 2 officers who responded. The officer who shot her went to the back. We don't know where the other officer went, do we?
They shouldn't have done that. You start with the front door, knock on the door. Hello, is anybody home? Are you safe?
That's
how well-being
Can you
checks
respond to what I just said? Do you know that the other officer, the partner with him, did not do that?
I don't know.
Exactly. Joe in Hoffman Estates.
God, what a major screw up by the police. I mean, could you imagine if you had a kid playing a video game and she gets shot through the window from a police officer that it's unannounced, plus putting a flashlight through the window? The cop's lucky he didn't get shot.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, you wouldn't know who's out there.
That's in part why you would think the police officer would identify himself and should identify himself. Absolutely. Thanks for the call, Joe.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Hey, if you're missing teeth or even a single tooth, then dental implants are a fantastic way to regain your confidence, your smile, and your dental health. Hey, Sean Hannity here. So what are you waiting for? Find out now if implants are for you. Successful implants don't come from an implant factory. Skill, treatment, installation, those are the main differences for successful lifelong implants. That's why you need to see Dr. Neruzzi at Fox River Periodontics. Dr. Neruzzi is the recommended choice of dentists that don't do implants themselves. You need the experience, the skill, and honesty that over 25 years of dental implants brings, and you're going to be happy with your implant. It's not a mass production procedure because everyone is different. And Dr. Neruzzi wants to talk to you about dental implants today.
This is Dr. Neruzzi. I personally guarantee your happiness with your implants.
Call Fox River Periodontics at 630-232-7400. They're online at implantsforme.com.
Is your child falling behind academically? Is he overwhelmed, distracted, or unable to focus? Does your daughter lack confidence? It's not too late to consider the outstanding education and preparation for life that St. John's Northwestern Military Academy offers. For 135 years, St. John's Northwestern has prepared teens for college and beyond within a safe, secure, and structured environment, free from distractions and optimal for learning. St. John's Northwestern attracts teens grades 7 through 12 who are capable of achieving more, but need guidance and encouragement to get there. They inspire personal growth through a commitment to academic, spiritual, and character development, athletics, and a strong foundation essential for critical thinking and decision-making. St. John's Northwestern is in the beautiful Lake Country region of southeast Wisconsin, within driving distance of Chicago. Visit their beautiful 110-acre campus during their open house Friday, November 8th. Get more info at 1-800-SJ-CADET, 1-800-SJ-CADET, or online at sjnma.org. That's sjnma.org. St. John's Northwestern Military Academy. Leadership lives here.
AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
The Turks were coming in whether or not we kept troops in Syria or not. That was sort of an underreported aspect of the decision-making process. We're going to discuss it with Doug Bondo from the Cato Institute at 6:06.
But first, let's head into the newsroom. News here at home and around the world. Good Monday morning to Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. Chicago celebrating Columbus Day today. A 3-year-old boy critically hurt in a Southside shooting. A serial stowaway back in jail. WIND Chicago News Time is 6 o'clock.
Syria and Russia now helping fighters who used to be U.S. allies. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. This is Turkey warns its operation will hit another city held by Kurdish fighters who had helped defeat the ISIS caliphate. Fox's Simon Owen has the latest live.
Dave, a major shift of alliances with the U.S. pulling back, Kurdish forces agreeing a deal with Syria's government to fend off attacks from Turkey. State media in Syria showing locals chanting the name of Syrian President Bashar al-Assad as Syrian army units arrived. Turkey's President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, meanwhile, signalling his next move, saying an operation targeting the Kurdish-held city of Manbij is about to begin. Dave?
Simon, some Republicans have joined Democrats critical of President Trump's decision, including Congresswoman Liz Cheney, who's leading the push for economic sanctions against Turkey.
If our adversaries begin to sense weakness, if our adversaries begin to think that we won't defend our allies, that we won't defend our interests, that's provocative.
Cheney also told Fox House Democrats are partly to blame, weakening the president with their impeachment inquiry.
It was not an accident that the Turks chose this moment.
Well, today, former Trump aide to Russia Fiona Hill will be interviewed by 3 House committees. Democrat Adam Schiff chairs Intel and says the whistleblower may not testify, telling CBS Face the Nation.
It may not be necessary to take steps that might reveal the whistleblower's identity to do that, and we're going to make sure we protect that whistleblower.
The president's reaction? No. He tweeted a few minutes ago the whistleblower must testify to explain how they got his call with Ukraine's leader so wrong. He insists there was no pressure to investigate Joe Biden and his son. A white police officer is on administrative leave in Fort Worth, Texas, after shooting a black woman to death through the window of her home Saturday. Police are investigating. Atatiana Jefferson's family, as attorney, calls it murder.
That officer should be fired, he should be arrested, and he should be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
Police were responding to a neighbor's call of a door open at that home. America's listening to Fox News.
Skies are mostly clear, 38 degrees, 6:02 on AM 560, The Answer, and good morning. I'm Mike Scott. There is a frost advisory up for the west and northwest suburbs. Emergency crews remain at the scene of a deadly car versus pedestrian crash. It happened along I-57 near Sibley Boulevard. All southbound lanes were closed for quite some time as authorities investigated. Chicago police are still investigating a shooting that left 5 dead over the weekend on the northwest side. Chicago police say a man shot and killed 5 neighbors Saturday night in a condo building along West Irving Park Road.
Everybody in the building knew him. They knew him, as I said, to have anger management problems. He's had confrontations with people in the building before. We don't know what set him off tonight.
The suspected gunman is in custody so far. No charges have been filed. A 3-year-old boy is in critical condition, shot on Chicago's south side. The child sitting in a parked vehicle with his mother and 2 other children last night near 52nd and Peoria. Teachers, school support staff, and park district workers gathering in Chicago today. CTU and the Service Employees Union are holding an indoor rally at the Chicago Temple. They'll then, they say, march through downtown. A carbon monoxide leak blamed for causing the evacuation of an ice rink in the western suburbs. The leak first reported last night at Center Ice of DuPage and Glen Ellen after 2 hockey players from 2 different high schools were sickened. Firefighters evacuated the building. The cause of the leak is under investigation. Bulls beat the Raptors 105-91 in Toronto last night. Blackhawks continue their 7-game homestand tonight. The Oilers coming to visit. Baseball last night, Astros beat the Yankees in Game 2 of the ALCS 3-2. The news service of Discover. Want to hear something amazing? Discover matches all the cash back you earn at the end of your first year automatically. No limit to how much they'll match. Millions of people a year are getting their cash back matched. Discover Cashback Match. What are you waiting for? Learn more at discover.com/cashbackmatch. 6:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Tickets for Freedom Summit 2019 sold out in record time in response to the high demand. We've opened up an overflow room for attendees to watch the event on Saturday, November 2nd at the Westin Chicago Northwest. Overflow tickets are on sale now, but are selling fast. Get yours at freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com. Sponsored in part by Chicago Anesthesia Pain Specialists, PJN Tax Solutions, the Illinois Family Institute, Income Store, and by Best Dental Group of Bartlett.
Okay, forest animals, today is a new day. Kids are coming to the forest, and it's up to us to make their visit a good one. Sparrow.
Yes?
Have you practiced the most popular bird songs for the year?
Of course.
Catchy. I like it. Okay, River.
Dude.
How's the temperature?
It's a refreshing 52 degrees, man. Perfect for a little riverside shoeless relaxation.
Ah, good. Owl, you here? Course. Who's asking? I am. Look, you know the drill. Sleep during the day, scare the kids at night. Perfect. I love my job. Oak Tree?
What's up?
Still in the same place I left you last year. That's what I like. Consistency.
Well, it's not like I'm going anywhere for the next couple hundred years.
I know. I love it. Turtle. Turtle.
He's not here yet, man.
He's late every morning. You'd think he would have learned by now to leave the night before our meetings. Okay. Squirrel. Has anybody seen Mr. Squirrel?
The forest has been preparing just for you. Visit a forest near you today. To learn more about cool things to do in the forest, visit discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Staples gives your business more for less. At Staples, you'll find the latest tech to help you work smarter, not harder. And right now, save up to $200 on select printers. Staples, for your business printing and beyond. Ends 11/2/19 while supplies last. Exclusions apply.
6:06 AM 560 Traffic Center time, and here is Jim Telemonte.
Metra is reporting delays on the Union Pacific Northwest and Milwaukee North lines after an incident involving a freight train and a pedestrian near Mayfair. Outbound I-57 remains closed, 127th Sibley. Investigation continues into a pedestrian incident on that roadway. Inbound traffic is moving well. On Bishop Ford, just a little tight. King Drive to the Ryan. The Ryan, with scattered delays, is now 19 minutes, 95th to downtown. Kennedy, 22 minutes, O'Hare to the Bird Circle. Outbound 36, pretty heavy airport traffic. Eisenhower, 31 minutes, 390 to downtown. Stevenson, 39 minutes, 355. And that's traffic. I'm Jim Telemonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center, here's our meteorologist, Steve Williams.
Cooler day today, mostly sunny with a high only 52. Some clouds tonight, low 41. Cloudy with a couple of showers tomorrow, high 62. Partly sunny, windy, and cool Wednesday, the high at 51. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
38 at O'Hare, 41 Midway, and it is freezing this morning in Aurora, 32. Your next news update is at 6:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Secure Retirement Radio with host Raj Shah. Sunday mornings at 7 on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Defense Secretary Mark Esper was on with Chris Wallace on Fox News Sunday. And he made a disclosure that was also punctuated by Rand Paul over on Meet the Press that should have been part of the lead in explaining the decision for troop withdrawal from Syria. I don't know why it took 3 or 4 days for this to become known, if this is providing the context the American people need to understand the basis for the decision. And that context is the Turks were coming in whether U.S. troops stayed or not.
And I did not know that prior to yesterday.
In fact,
his appearance on CNN.
And there was no rosy outlook by the administration in terms of what would happen, although there have been efforts for many months to try to keep the Turks contained, such that there were not some of the atrocities committed that apparently are reportedly being committed. Secretary Esper.
We will see everything from the release of ISIS prisoners to a humanitarian catastrophe. It will damage U.S. relations with Turkey. They're staying in NATO. All this is playing out exactly as we predicted. And we, again, urge President Erdogan to stop and go back to the status quo ante.
So what is the U.S., what is the Pentagon as the primary the military force there? What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do to stop this?
Well, this is part of the terrible situation that Turkey has put us in. And again, despite our protestations, we now know, we believe that the Turks now intend to go further south than originally expected and to go both west and east, which would increase their zone from beyond a 30-kilometer depth and nearly 440 kilometers wide. At the same time, we've learned in the last 24 hours that it looks like the SDF is cutting a deal with the Syrians and Russians.
Yeah, we should say SDF. Those are the Kurdish forces, the Syrian democracy forces.
Defense forces, that's right. They're cutting a deal, and now what we're facing is U.S. forces in trapped between a Syrian-Russian army moving north to take on the Turkish army that is moving south. It puts us in a terrible position, and the protection and safety of our service members comes first to me. I spoke with the national security team yesterday. We all talked on the phone. I talked to the president, and he is concerned. And so last night he directed that we begin a deliberate withdrawal of U.S. forces from the northern part of Syria.
And for those arguing, well, those 50 or to 100 U.S. troops standing between the Turks and the Kurds, where they could act as a tripwire. That is what has maintained the stability, the status quo that Secretary Esper just referenced. Well, to that he said this.
The United States, first of all, doesn't have the forces on hand to stop an invasion of Turkey that is 15,000 strong, if you will, preceded by airstrikes and artillery and mechanized forces. Got to keep in mind, too, that look, we didn't sign up to fight Turkey, a long-standing NATO ally, on behalf of the SDF. Again, this is a terrible situation. The first thing that we understood, I've understood from my counterpart, Secretary Pompeo from his, and certainly from President Erdogan, is they were fully committed to doing this regardless of what we did. We thought it was prudent. It was my recommendation. I know the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff agreed as well. We should not put U.S. forces in between a Turkish advance. Look, the fact is also, Chris, we are not going to go to war, another war in the Middle East, against a Turkey, which is a long-standing NATO ally that has fought alongside us from Korea all the way through Afghanistan.
For more on this, we're pleased to be joined by Doug Bondo, who's a senior fellow at the Cato Institute, specializing in foreign policy and civil liberties. He's written a piece I referenced last week in National Interest on the topic. Doug, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Happy to be on.
So what about this sort of late in the game in terms of public consumption disclosure that the Turks were coming in regardless of what the U.S. was going to do with our current troop levels?
Well, that shouldn't surprise us. They came in almost 2 years ago into another section, took the town of Afrin and assorted territory over there where we didn't have forces. They've been very concerned about the Kurds. This is a very long-standing controversy. They've had brutal warfare in their own country. They haven't treated Kurds well. But then the PKK, a group in Turkey itself, has fought a bitter guerrilla war against them. And their concern is the Syrian Kurds do have ties with the PKK. It shows the problem. You drop a couple hundred, 1,000, 2,000 Americans into the middle of a contest which has the Syrians, the Russians, the Iranians, the Turks, ISIS and whatnot. You can't expect it to kind of sort things out.
So President Trump has ordered all U.S. troops out of northern Syria, and we're hearing this morning that the Kurds are now seeking to join forces with Assad and the Russians. Is that true?
Yes, that's what it looks like. And frankly, that is probably the best of a bad solution. That is, there is no good answer here. I mean, this is a messy place, lots of bad actors. The Kurds have been talking to the Syrians for some time. Indeed, during the Civil War, they didn't fight each other. That was a conscious policy. So I think this may be their best hope. That is, if the Syrians take the border posts, that the Turks may very well be willing to stay out. The main thing is the Turks wanted to do is ensure there wouldn't be contact across the border between Turkish Kurds and Syrian Kurds. It's not a good solution, but quite frankly, it's better than being slaughtered, and having to fight the Turks.
How concerned are you? Rand Paul made the point. Look, the point here, President Trump's foreign policy, his principled realism was, we're there to eradicate ISIS. We defeated ISIS militarily, and now, of course, one of the arguments against withdrawal is that this will allow for the rise of ICE yet again. How do you assess that potentiality?
Well, the point is ISIS is the enemy of every player over there. I mean, if the Syrians and the Iraqis and the Iranians and the Kurds, and the Russians and the Jordanians and the Gulf states can't handle ISIS, we've got a problem. Basically, they all relied on the U.S. because we were willing to do it. We took ISIS down from its peak, broke it as a serious fighting force. Some of its guys are still going over there, but this really is up to the other countries. And this is one advantage, in a sense, of having the Syrians take over more territory, which is in their sovereign country, of course, is that they'll make it harder for ISIS. They're enemies of ISIS. If they're controlling that territory, they're going to try to stop them.
And with respect to the path forward, what, again, Senator Paul laid out, as he did previously when he was running for president, is what we should be doing is trying to facilitate multi-party talks, as uncomfortable as it may be, with Erdogan, with representatives of the Kurdish factions, and with Assad for a Kurdish homeland.
Well, that's right. I think the best hope for the Kurds is autonomy. I mean, it's essentially what they have in Iraq. They're not fully sovereign, but they have an awful lot of autonomy. That's what the Kurds in Syria deserve. The question is, can you come up with a system then where the Turks are satisfied because Syria stands between the Turks and the Kurds, where Syria is satisfied because it can have sovereignty over the area, the Kurds are satisfied because they have enough autonomy. It won't be easy, but again, that's what we should be aiming for. The U.S. can't fix this, but maybe we can help push people in the right direction.
One other thing he said, Rand Paul said, you want to go to war against Turkey, against a NATO ally? Then let's have a vote in the Senate. And he said, we won't have a vote in the Senate. You know why? Because we don't know who to declare war on. That's how complicated it is over there, including the fact that not all Kurds are the same.
No, that's right. And this is one where, I think there's a good argument actually for tossing Turkey out of NATO. But as long as they're part of NATO, they're a 68-year ally, a member of the premier American military alliance. you have to choose between them or the guys you were just working with kind of episodically in a civil war, it's pretty hard to turn down the Turks. I mean, they have a claim there that it's hard to dismiss. I mean, and what are you telling all of our other normal allies if you dismiss the Turkish claims? I mean, this is a very complicated situation. It shows the problem, frankly, of having too many allies. You make these commitments and they suddenly clash.
And you don't know who to give favors to first.
Also, too, I mean, this is the same president being criticized for being too tough with our NATO allies. Now we're supposed to go to war with one. It's a lot to keep track of on your scorecard.
You're exactly right.
Doug Bondo, senior fellow at the Cato Institute, specializing in foreign policy and civil liberties, former special assistant to President Reagan. And check out his piece, which I'll tweet out, Trump's Triumph, America Finally Leaves Syria at nationalinterest.org. Doug, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Happy to be on. Take care now.
Yeah, and he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
If you're talking about it, Dan and Amy are talking about it. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Is your child falling behind academically? Is he overwhelmed, distracted, or unable to focus? Does your daughter lack confidence? It's not too late to consider the outstanding education and preparation for life that St. John's Northwestern Military Academy offers. For 135 years, St. John's Northwestern has prepared teens for college and beyond within a safe, secure, and structured environment, free from distractions and optimal for learning. St. John's Northwestern attracts teens grades 7 through 12 who are capable of achieving more, but need guidance and encouragement to get there. They inspire personal growth through a commitment to academic, spiritual, and character development, athletics, and a strong foundation essential for critical thinking and decision-making. St. John's Northwestern is in the beautiful Lake Country region of southeast Wisconsin, within driving distance of Chicago. Visit their beautiful 110-acre campus during their open house Friday, November 8th. Get more info at 1-800-SJ-CADET, 1-800-SJ-CADET, or online at sjnma.org. That's sjnma.org. St. John's Northwestern Military Academy. Leadership lives here.
Hackers are just relentless, and it's only a matter of time before they get to your business network. Attacks come from all over the world. Yes, places like Russia and China, and here at home. So how can you keep your business protected? Well, the answer is Turnkey IT. Turnkey IT has been a proud partner of AM 560 for years. They understand the needs of small to medium-sized businesses, whether it's 5 or 200 employees. So don't become another company that has had its network, or worse, its clients' information compromised. Take charge and contact Turnkey IT. And right now, you can get a free security audit, which is normally $600. They'll take a look at your technology systems and make sure that you're not vulnerable to attacks, intrusions, and hackers. They'll even recommend a complete strategy that offers protection for your company's data and network. Leave the technical stuff to the pros so you can focus on what's important. Visit turnkey.pro today. That's turnkey.pro.
This Saturday, two great musical traditions come together in one extraordinary concert. Shen Yun, founded and based in New York, is dedicated to reviving traditional Chinese culture, which has been nearly destroyed in today's China under communist rule. Preserving mankind's traditions and virtues is the foundation of Shen Yun's artistic vision. Shen Yun Symphony Orchestra returns with an all-new program featuring original works, as well as classics by Tchaikovsky, Smetana, and Gounod. This unique experience expresses the true spirit and beauty of China's 5,000-year-old civilization, something you'll cherish for years to come. One concert only at Symphony Center, Chicago on October 19th at 2:30 p.m. Get your tickets today at cso.org.
Okay. All right. Believe it or not, the calendar does say October. Yes, it is fall. The leaves are falling. They're changing colors. And for you, maybe you're starting to feel your energy level failing. Maybe you're having trouble sleeping, or maybe you've just got seasonal allergies. Here's what we do know. You're not getting enough fruits and veggies in your diet. Pumpkin spice does not count as a vegetable, folks. So time to get healthy before the holiday season starts. Take Balance of Nature. Just 6 capsules of Balance of Nature. You're getting 10 servings of 31 different fruits and veggies. You hear the stories right here all the time of how people's lives have changed by taking Balance of Nature. And the next story could be yours, but you've got to order Balance of Nature today. Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. And right now, until the end of the day, you can become a preferred member. It's a special offer, $25 off and free shipping on your first preferred order of Balance of Nature. Here's what you do. Call 800-246-8751. That's 800-246-8751. Use discount code Chicago or go to balanceofnature.com. Discount code Chicago.
AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Got to address that CNN LGBTQ plus town hall on Thursday night. Some remarkable moments, including those that went viral. None more so than Elizabeth Warren. Elizabeth Warren asked by an audience member about responding to somebody who doesn't believe in the redefinition of marriage.
You're on the campaign trail, and you're approached. You have been, yes. And a supporter approaches you and says, "Senator, I'm old-fashioned, and my faith teaches me that marriage is between one man and one woman." What is your response?
Well, I'm going to assume it's a guy who said that, and I'm going to say, then just marry one woman. I'm cool with that. Assuming you can find one.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Is that right that only guys believe in traditional marriage, do not believe in the redefinition of marriage, and no woman would date or marry a guy who does so? Is that right? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. This was spoofed, I thought. This is something I won't say very often. Spoofed very nicely by Saturday Night Live.
Y'all know I'm not a lesbian, but all the ingredients are there.
Who would like to ask a question? So, Senator, let's say you've been on the campaign trail.
Oh, yeah, I have.
How would you respond if someone said to you, "I'm old-fashioned and my faith teaches me that marriage is between one man and one woman"?
Look, I'm going to assume it's a guy asking.
Snap, the library's open and Miss Thing is about to get read.
I would say, "Sir, tell me your bus stop, because I want to know where you get off." What else? If someone doesn't want to serve gay people at their small business, I bet that's not the only thing that's small. And when people say gay and trans people shouldn't be included in Civil Rights Act protections, well, I wish their parents had used protection.
I mean,
Had a good old time.
Wow.
Elizabeth Warren, I mean, frankly, the SNL parody isn't much of a parody.
no, it's not at all. And it's so offensive what Elizabeth Warren said, and she thought it was so funny. And why they even had the forum in the first place. I mean, they're trying to attract LGBTQ members. You already have them. You know, I mean, the whole thing was just goofy and a waste of time.
No, it wasn't. It would actually turned out to be quite useful because it helped expose Elizabeth Warren for who she is and the left for who they are. That ridicule? John Podhoretz points out this is exactly why President Trump is
Winning.
relishing the prospects of facing Elizabeth Warren. Perhaps even more so than Creepshow Joe. John Podhoretz, good column in the New York Post. It's the case that about a third of the country opposes gay marriage and therefore believes marriage is between a man and a woman. Even more notable, a majority of African Americans and the barest majority of African Americans in 2019 say they support gay marriage. That's up over the last couple of years, of course, when the majority used to oppose. The power of the media and the cultural Marxists in control of our persuasive institutions, but bare majority. So let's say, half, 55-45. Funny? You find that funny? Black Americans who believe one man, one woman, that's the definition of marriage. It was good for 2,000 years. It should be good for the last few as well.
Well, just to make fun of people who have traditional views about marriages.
Is what they do.
I know.
Because it's what they believe.
And it was so bad that SNL did the best spoof ever. They even had Billy Porter out there to zazz things up. And this, you got to hear the Mayor Pete.
Yes, representing House of Booty Gig,
you. I went to Harvard, but they don't teach you where to put your arms.
Our next question comes from Daniel.
Yeah, how do you respond to those who say you're not gay in the right way?
I've heard that, but there's no wrong way to be gay, unless you're Ellen this week.
Any other questions?
Oh, actually, Anderson, I have one. Why am I not winning this? I'm a veteran. I'm under the legal retirement age. And when I talk, it makes sense. Is something wrong with me?
No, you're a great guy, just like as a friend, not for president.
If we get back to this matter of Elizabeth Warren and what she said, the combination of her with Beto O'Rourke, which we'll get to in a second. But Jim in Crown Point, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, guys. How you doing?
Good.
Let me tell you, your show really gets me pumped up in the morning. Sometimes that could be good, probably bad too sometimes. But George Washington said that you got to govern the land with the Bible, and when you turn away from that, the nation's going to fall. And that's where we're at. And it's pretty sad. One man for one woman. I believe like that. My wife, my kids, siblings. It's just where there's an agenda with a motive, and it's actually from the pit of hell. Have a good day, folks.
Thanks, Jim. I believe marriage is between a man and a woman. I'm not in favor of gay marriage. Candidate Barack Obama in 2008. That was some forum, wasn't it? Oh, what about all of you who think like Elizabeth Warren? Because I heard a lot of Republicans, a lot of erstwhile conservatives who like basically had the same pithy comeback that Elizabeth Warren offered in that forum when this was being debated and before the Obergefell decision by the Supreme Court. Oh, if you're opposed to gay marriage, don't get gay married. Ha. Jonah Goldberg supported marriage redefinition, took a neutral position at worst. I mean, at best, I should say, took a neutral position. So did others. And now, did you see that forum on Thursday night?
That's embarrassing.
The Obergefell decision, the Solicitor General, the Obama administration's counsel on the case, told you then that Christian institutions, religious institutions that did not support the redefinition would have a problem. And now, a few years later, they're having a problem, aren't they? Can't say you weren't warned. You just weren't paying attention. Or you were just cowered by the left. And so now you have this on display. That wasn't the best moment of the night. The best moment of the night was Blossom C. Brown. You familiar with her? Him? Them?
That demonstrated earlier and that have spoken up today, especially black trans women.
But let me tell you something. Black trans women are being killed in this country. And CNN, you have erased black trans women for the last time. Let me tell you something. Black trans women are dying. Our lives matter. I'm an extraordinary black trans woman. And I deserve to be here. My black trans sisters that are here.
Everybody
I am
clap.
tired. I am so tired. I'm just sitting there. And it's not just my black trans women. It's my black trans brothers too. And I'm going to say what I'm going to say. I'm going to say what I'm going to say.
Come here. No, I just want to ask you something. Come here. Tell me. Come here. I want you to talk. What's your name?
I'm Blossom C. Brown.
Blossom, let me ask you.
Google me.
Blossom.
Please Google me.
Blossom, thank you. Let me tell you something. No, don't come on the stage. Don't come on the stage. May I have the mic? May I have the mic? Blossom, let me tell you something. The reason that we're here is to validate people like you. That is why we're giving, but that is why we're here.
That's why they're here. To validate Blossom C. Brown and to attack anybody who doesn't applaud. Thank you, Mr. Lamone, for that concession. Bill in LaSalle County.
I work for a major Fortune 50 company, and last week we had an Ally Day, ALLY, which was to promote and seek other employees to pledge to to accept and basically not discriminate against the LGBTQ community.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Bill. I didn't get a harumph from that guy. It's Blazing Saddles come to life. And everybody's William J. Lepetamain. Get used to it. This is what we get when we concede these fundamental points, which so many Republicans did less than a decade ago. And here's where we're at. Blossom C. Brown running the show.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer,
we'll talk to our friend Selena Zito, Washington Examiner reporter, about the state of play in impeachment theater as well as POTUS politics at 6:36.
And later, listen to this headline. An Indiana couple claims their adopted daughter from Ukraine really was an adult with dwarfism, and she tried to kill the family. We'll explain. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
37 degrees. A frost advisory is up for the west and northwest suburbs. Rescue crews are digging through mudslides and searching swollen rivers as they look for those missing from a typhoon that left dozens dead, caused serious damage in central and northern Japan. A riverside section of Nagano, northwest of Tokyo, covered in mud this morning. Apple orchards completely flooded out. Homes without electricity. Defense Secretary Mark Esper says the Pentagon is focused on protecting U.S. troops as they pull out of northern Syria.
We have American forces likely caught between two opposing advancing armies, and it's a very untenable situation.
On Fox News Sunday, Esper saying fewer than 1,000 troops will leave the region, but could not give an exact timeline on how long it will take to pull them out. President Trump says China is already buying American agriculture products again after reaching a Phase 1 trade deal. Emergency officials in New Orleans say they'll work as long as it takes to try to locate a man they believe may still be alive and underneath the partially collapsed Hard Rock Hotel. Emergency crews remain on the scene of a vehicle accident this morning. It happened along I-57 near Sibley Boulevard. A 3-year-old boy remains in critical condition. The Chicago boy was shot on the south side, sitting in a parked vehicle with his mother and 2 other children last night near 52nd and Peoria. And the manager of Patrick Day, the boxer, says that boxer has suffered a traumatic brain injury and this morning is in extremely critical condition in a coma caused by an injury during the Chicago bout. Day underwent emergency surgery at Northwestern Memorial after being knocked out in the 10th round over the weekend by Charles Conwell. It happened Saturday night. Bulls get their first win of the preseason, beating the defending champs Toronto 105-91. Blackhawks on the ice tonight, taking on the Oilers at the UC. The news, a service of Staples. Staples gives your business more for less. It's where you find the latest tech to help you work smarter, not harder. Right now, save up to $300 on the latest PCs. Staples, for your business tech and beyond. In-store only, ends 11/2/19 while supplies last. Exclusions apply. 6:35, we'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher sees another scam from the Democrats.
I got an idea. Vote on impeachment. Get it underway. Vote. And without a vote, nobody from the White House, the State Department, or the Trump administration should be testifying before this kangaroo court. The president is right. It's a scam.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Want your home's furnace to stay safe and reliable? And want to prevent any potential problems before they happen? At your local 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning, we recommend an annual furnace inspection and tune-up. Right now, get big savings on a furnace tune-up. Call 855-1-HOUR. Because not taking care of your furnace, that's just cold.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1 Hour.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
Hilco Industrial is bringing you a 2-day live on-site and webcast auction from a Chicagoland fastener manufacturer that you won't want to miss. Featuring a complete machine shop, large quantity of hand and power tools, test and measurement equipment, forklifts, pallet racking, tables, storage, general plant support, and much more. Auction Day 1 takes place October 16th in Cherry Valley, Illinois. Day 2 takes place October 17th in Wheaton, Illinois. Bid in person or online starting at 9 a.m. both days. Visit HilcoInd.com or call 1-877-37-HILCO for more details.
Balance of Nature. Changing the world, one life at a time.
And Balance of Nature, for my energy and everything, it does make it much easier for me. I love it. I really, I tell everybody about it. And I love when they have the shows when the doctor speaks and all. So it really, it lifts your spirits too, knowing that there's somebody out there that really wants to help you and has come up with something this good. So I'm happy.
Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. From now until Columbus Day, Balance of Nature is offering $25 off and free shipping on your first preferred order of Balance of Nature. This special is ending between now and October 14th, so don't wait. Call 800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Blue Emu supports healthy muscles and joints. Blue Emu works fast and you won't stink.
6:37 AM 560 traffic center time. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Metris Milwaukee North and Union Pacific Northwest lines have heavy delays after a pedestrian incident with a freight train near Mayfair. This has eastbound Montrose partially blocked past Cicero. Outbound I-57 remains closed, 127th to Sibley. Investigation of a pedestrian incident there. Inbound I-57's okay. Bishop Ford just a little congested. King Drive to the Ryan. Ryan just 17 minutes 95th to downtown on this Columbus Day. Kennedy just 24 minutes O'Hare to downtown. But outbound 51. Eisenhower 32 minutes from 390 to downtown. Outbound 33. Stevenson 39 minutes 355 to the Drive. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Sunny and cool today. We'll top out at 52. Currently 37. Next news coming up at 7, and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560 The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by On Target Radio. From firearms and Second Amendment rights to personal freedoms and government intrusions. Listen here Sunday nights at 9.
If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. No quid pro quo required. That's what Adam Schiff said over the weekend on Face the Nation. So we went from this being a quid pro quo, the Trump conversation with the Ukrainian president, and thus an impeachable offense. And as I said at the time, there was no quid pro quo. And frankly, even if there was the suggestion of it, it doesn't rise to the level of impeachable offense. That's a debatable point. Jonathan Turley, I guess, disagrees with me, George Washington law professor. That's fine.
Yeah, but now they're saying they don't even need a quid pro quo.
Adam Schiff doesn't need it. He doesn't need it. He doesn't need evidence of anything resembling a high crime or misdemeanor, it would seem, either.
Well, we're keeping our focus right now on the president's coercion of an ally, that is Ukraine, to create these sham investigations into his political opponent. We have discovered in very short order not only the contents of that call, but also the preparatory work that went into that call, the effort to condition something the Ukrainian president deeply sought, and that was a meeting with the president to establish that this new president of Ukraine had a powerful patron, the president of the United States, that was of vital importance to Ukraine, was being conditioned on digging up dirt on the Bidens.
So you see that as the quid pro quo, not just the military aid?
First of all, there doesn't need to be a quid pro quo. But it is clear already, I think, from the text messages, that this meeting that the Ukraine president sought was being conditioned on their willingness to interfere in the U.S. election to help the president.
Which is just an absurd interpretation, because the actual transcript suggests cooperation with the investigation into 2016. That includes a look at Ukraine because, as Politico reported just a couple of years ago, there was a belief that there were Ukrainian actors that were attempting to interfere in the 2016 election on behalf of Hillary Clinton. And then if there was nothing of interest in the Joe Biden matter, then why the proclamations this week? Hunter steps down from the private equity concern that received $1.5 billion from Chinese National Bank, State Bank, and Joe Biden in Iowa proclaiming there will be no high-flying foreign endeavors by Hunter in a Biden administration if there's nothing there. Lee Zeldin, Republican from New York, was on opposite Schiff. He was on with Jonathan Carlin this week, and he had this to say about Adam Schiff and the ingredients of the Schiff cocktail, the Schiff-tini, let's call it.
There should be a process, but instead, what Adam Schiff wants is to get United States of America drunk on his favorite cocktail. There's 3 ingredients. 1 is cherry-picking leaks. 2nd is withholding facts. And 3 is just outright lying. I mean, he lied about his whistleblower contact. He lied when he gave his opening statement in front of the acting director of national intelligence. He lied when he said that President Trump requests President Zelensky to, quote, manufacture dirt. Now, if we all had Ambassador Volker's testimony, we would know that that's not true. We would also know that it obliterated the quid pro quo charge, that fairy tale that President Trump supposedly demanded that there would be an investigation open against the Bidens in order to get aid from the United States to Ukraine.
For more on this topic, we're pleased to be joined by our friend Selena Zito, Washington Examiner reporter, New York Post columnist, CNN contributor, author of The Great Revolt Inside the Populist Coalition, Reshaping American Politics. Selena, thanks for being with us.
Good morning. Thanks so much for having me.
Good morning. So how do you respond to no quid pro quo needed, and then Lee Zeldin's recipe for the Schiff-tini?
I laughed. So
fair response.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem for the Democrats. This whole entire thing has sort of played out in the way that people, even people who don't like Trump, suspected that it might. That there is not enough there in the same way that with the allegations that the president colluded with the Russians to win the election in 2016. Even a lot of skeptical independent voters and Democrats or Republicans who sort of sat by the seat of their pants for 2 years on Russia now watch this start to crumble and fall apart and say, come on. Let's just try to have something sort of normal in the way Congress behaves. We put Democrats in the majority because we believed when they said they weren't going to run on impeachment and then try to enforce it. And, we're getting nothing. Like Washington, once again, we send them a message with our vote. And in 2018, the message was, let's put the brakes on this. Let's put some moderate people in Congress and let's see what happens. And instead, what they get is sort of a dumpster fire. And every day is a dumpster fire. And people are really fed up with this.
Well, until the House takes a formal vote on impeachment, I just see this as a witch hunt. What do you think?
I see it as chaos. And a lot of people believe that they can thrive under chaos and grab power under chaos. I think they are wrong and they misunderstand the will of the people. And they listen way too much to the people in themselves, right? From their echo chamber in Washington, D.C., which is a company town. Everybody, works for the government or some sort of, affiliation of working for the government. And they all think the same way, whether they're Republicans or Democrats. And so they think this is great. But out here where the rest of us live, we look at this as like chaotic and crazy. This is a really important lesson, I think, and it was one of the last things we said. We talked about in the Great Revolt. Not much has changed since November 9th, 2016. If you woke up that morning and you voted for the president, you're optimistic about the future. If you woke up and you did not vote for the president and you hate him with every breath that you take, your hair is still on fire. And the only thing that will put that fire out is if he is impeached or thrown out of office and not, sort of lose in the way you're supposed to lose, which is in the next election.
How do you think this would add or subtract to the chaos? Rashida Tlaib saying that House Democrats have discussed jailing allies of the president who do not comply with congressional subpoenas. She said that this would be uncharted territory, but that serious conversations about taking the step have occurred within the Democrat caucus. So what about Republicans in cages in the House?
I feel like Nancy Pelosi is looking at Adam Schiff and Tlaib and saying, "Dear God, please make them step away from the microphone," because none of what they have said in the past 36 hours is incredibly or even minutely helpful to the Democrats' case for a serious inquiry into impeaching the president. None of it. Absolutely none of it.
And then we learned late last week that the original whistleblower who had secondhand information used to work for or is associated with Vice President Joe Biden. How are they related? How do they know each other?
I'm not quite sure what the association was, because at a certain point at the end of the week, I sort of turned everything off because I didn't want my brain to melt down.
Sure.
And,
it's good. Mental health check.
Yes.
That's good. Yeah. Got to protect the asset. Yes.
Well, I also think, to be honest, it's important to me as a reporter who reports outside of Washington and New York to try to consume news in the way that a regular person does, in particular the people that decide the elections. So I think it's important to stick to local news in a lot of ways, because you then see the even distribution of how people consume their news, rather than when you turn on the national news and everything is a crisis. I mean, if someone found an acorn that was, had two heads on it, that would be like national news for like 3 days, and probably caused by climate change. But so, yeah.
Well, how would you process this in terms of your reporting on how regular people think and what informs their votes? The remarkable statement by Bobby O'Rourke at the CNN LGBTQ town hall on Thursday night, suggesting that I'll see Obama's "you clinging to your guns and religion" comment, and I'll up you removing the nonprofit status of religious institutions, churches, synagogues, mosques that do not comport with the Democrat position on marriage redefinition and perhaps other topics as well. Eliminating the nonprofit status for, I would think, probably a lot of black churches, a lot of Islamic mosques that don't support the redefinition of marriage.
Right. I think that Mr. O'Rourke tends to think of religious people and religious institutions only that are white and Christian. And he has a disdain for those kind of people of faith. Look, one of the most, and obviously that's not true, one of the most compelling reasons for voters who would not necessarily vote, in particular evangelical voters, who would not necessarily be inspired to vote for a 3-time married, Playboy dating, Howard Stern regular, was freedom of religion and freedom for those institutions. And one of the things that President Trump, through his picks on the judiciary and in the Supreme Court, have been a 5-star reinforcement of why they voted for him. And these voters, which we call King's Irish Christians in the Great Revolt, these voters are the ones that have received the most benefits of his coalition. He is the only president since Roe v. Wade who has stood in the Rose Garden on the day for the March for Life and given a powerful speech about the importance of the life issue. And so, so this kind of rhetoric from O'Rourke and anybody else who sort of attacks religious institutions, they completely misunderstand how important that is to people of faith, of all faiths across this country.
And Trump clearly doesn't, thus his rather fiery speech at the Values Voter Summit over the weekend.
Right. I mean, look what happened in Wisconsin last year, right across the lake, right? There was a vote for the state Supreme Court race, and the conservative was losing. He didn't have money. He didn't have support. Why? Because he had ran a religious school, a Christian school, and he was under attack because of that religious school followed the tenets of Christian religion. And voters came out for him, voters who normally wouldn't vote for him in Wisconsin, and he won that race, shocking everyone, because Americans, no matter whether you're Democrat, Republican, or Independent, we value religious freedom.
She is Selena Zito, Washington Examiner reporter, New York Post columnist, CNN contributor, and author of the book you have to pick up if you haven't already. It informs 2016 and 2020. Nice bridge. The Great Revolt Inside the Populist Coalition, Reshaping American Politics. Selena, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
And she joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
The Lou Dobbs Financial Report is brought to you by Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Visit signaturebank.bank for your commercial banking needs.
I'm Lou Dobbs. The UAW strike about to hit 1 month in duration. Another blow to Boeing 737 MAX jetliners. Iconic Mike Ditka's Steakhouse closing in Chicago. Those stories next.
Are you hiring? Do you know where to post your job to find the best candidates? Posting your job in one place isn't enough to find quality candidates. If you want to find the perfect hire, you need to post your job on all the top job sites. And now you can. With ZipRecruiter.com, you can post your job to 100 plus job sites, including social media networks like Facebook and Twitter, all with a single click. Find candidates in any city or industry nationwide. Just post once and watch your qualified candidates roll in to ZipRecruiter's easy-to-use interface. No juggling emails or calls to your office. Quickly screen candidates, rate them, and hire the right person fast. Find out today why ZipRecruiter has been used by over 400,000 businesses. And right now, listeners can try ZipRecruiter for free by going to ZipRecruiter.com/America. That's ZipRecruiter.com/America. One more time. To try it for free, go to ZipRecruiter.com/America.
The United Auto Workers Union strike against General Motors will soon hit its 1 month anniversary. The car maker reaching out directly to its workers, saying it's critical they get back to work. However, that angered union leaders. They say that message was sent in bad faith, the company losing an estimated $1 billion so far. United Airlines has become the third and final airline to abandon plans to return the Boeing jetliners to service this year. As a result, United says it will need to cancel more than 8,300 flights this week through January. Saying nothing is forever, former Chicago Bears coach Mike Ditka says his legendary Chicago Steakhouse closes at the end of December. Ditka says his lease in a Chicago hotel is expiring and won't be renewed. That steakhouse opened back in 1997. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 o'clock and 10 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Message and data rates may apply.
Guys, got hair loss? I know what you're thinking. Should I shave my head? Comb it over? Wear a hat? Just stop. This isn't 1970. Keep your hair and your confidence because Bosley, America's #1 hair restoration expert, can give you your real, natural-looking hair back permanently.
They're giving away an absolutely free information kit and a free gift card to everyone who texts MORE to 85850.
Dude, you don't have to look like your dad because this isn't your dad's hair loss treatment. People all over the country trust Bosley because they use the latest technology to give you your real hair back. You wash it, you cut it. It's your own real, naturally growing hair. And the best part, Bosley's permanent solution is protected by the Bosley Guarantee. Let them show you for free how awesome your hair could look with an absolutely free information kit and a gift card for $250 off. Text MORE to 85850. That's MORE to 85850.
The following statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. Amberen trials tested mild to moderate symptoms. Testimonials based on 90 days of use. Results may vary. IRI US MULO 52 weeks 7/14/19 by UPC MLVO.
Hi, I'm Mary Lou Retton. When I competed in gymnastics, I used to love to talk about my health, my energy, and my will to win gold. But today, I want to talk to you about something I used to keep private. My menopause. Between my hot flashes and night sweats, and worse, my constant fatigue, I felt like a stranger in my own life. Nothing I tried could give me relief until I discovered Amberen.
Amberen is clinically shown to relieve 12 menopause symptoms. Amberen is not a drug and is 100% estrogen-free and clinically tested.
Thanks to Amberen now, my energy is back, and those days of fearing hot flashes and night sweats are gone. I feel like myself again. Amberen works. It really works.
Hurry to your Walmart, Walgreens, Target, and other fine stores and see why Amberen is America's #1 menopause relief supplement.
This is attorney Stephen Leahy, host of the IRS Radio Hour, heard right here on AM 560 every Sunday evening at 5 o'clock. Let me tell you about Bill. Bill's business slowed down and he fell behind on his taxes. Instead of filing his tax return, he decided to wait until he could pay. Well, 1 year turned to 2, turned to 3. Then the IRS threatened to contact his customers, take his house, his bank account, and his passport. Well, Bill hired me. We filed all of his tax returns and an appeal to slow the IRS down. Then we worked out an installment agreement based on how much he could pay, not on how much he owed. Now Bill can rely on the IRS protection plan. We will file his future tax returns and keep the IRS off his back so Bill can focus on growing his business. If you have questions about the IRS, you can get a copy of my book, Deal with Your IRS Problem Today, to learn the secrets of solving your IRS problem and save your business, your marriage, and your reputation. Call 312-664-6649 or go to freeirsbook.com.
Individual rates, coverage offerings, and savings may vary, subject to terms and conditions. If you run a small business, every penny counts. So saving up to 30% on your workers' comp insurance is a big deal. That's why you need a workers' comp rate check from Pi Insurance, now available for small business owners in your area. Workers' comp insurance rates can vary, and yours may have changed since you got your current policy. That's why Pi Insurance invites you to get a quick online quote right from your computer or smartphone. Simply go to piinsurance.com and you'll know in just minutes if you're overpaying. Pi Insurance was built a better way, to make workers' comp a no-brainer with an easy online experience and outstanding service. Pi's coverage is A-rated by AM Best and helps protect your business and your employees. Plus, it could save you up to 30%. Do yourself a favor. Find out if your small business is overpaying for workers' comp insurance. Check out your rate today and see how much you can save at piinsurance.com. That's pieinsurance.com.
Watch today's show live right now on the Income Store live video stream at 560theanswer.com.
What's happening? What does it mean? Why is it important? We've got the answer. AM 560, The Answer, WIND,
Will
Chicago.
the whistleblower testify? I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. President Trump hopes so, but it's possible it won't happen. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, House Intelligence Committee Chairman Democrat Adam Schiff says a whistleblower's testimony may not be necessary, telling CBS Face the Nation the individual's personal safety is the panel's primary interest.
Given that we already have the call record, we don't need the whistleblower who wasn't on the call to tell us what took place during the call. We have the best evidence of that.
President Trump tweeted this morning that the whistleblower must testify to explain why he got my Ukraine conversation so wrong. Not even close. Dave.
All right, so today, former Trump aide to Russia, Fiona Hill, will be questioned by 3 House committees. The president insists the impeachment inquiry is a scam, while Democrats claim the president violated his oath of office, asking Ukraine's leader to investigate Joe Biden and his son. The president says there was no pressure, and he was probing corruption. While campaigning in Iowa, Joe Biden insisted again.
No one has indicated of any consequence that anything was done wrong or illegally by me or by my son.
Now, under a lot of scrutiny from the president's lawyer, Hunter Biden is stepping down from the board of a Chinese investment firm, and he put out a statement. If his father's elected president, he will not serve on boards of or work on behalf of foreign-owned companies. European Union nations have just voted unanimously to condemn Turkey's offensive in Syria, going after Kurdish forces who were U.S. allies battling ISIS. President Trump tweeted big economic sanctions on Turkey are coming. Now that American forces have pulled back, Syrian government troops are moving in to help Kurdish fighters. Police in Fort Worth, Texas, are investigating a shooting Saturday that left a black woman dead in her home, shot by a white officer through a window as they responded to a neighbor's call about a door open at the home. Tatiana Jefferson's family's attorney calls it murder.
The use of deadly force is just unthinkable in this situation.
The officer's on administrative leave. America's listening to Fox News.
38 degrees, 7:02, AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. There is a frost warning up for the west and northwest suburbs this morning. Emergency crews cleaning up after a deadly car versus pedestrian crash along I-57 this morning near Posen. A person was struck by the vehicle this morning near Sibley Boulevard. Chicago police are investigating a shooting that left 5 dead over the weekend on the northwest side.
Everybody in the building knew him. They knew him, as I said, to have anger management problems. He's had confrontations with people in the building before. We don't know what set him off tonight.
Chicago's first deputy superintendent saying the suspected gunman is in custody. So far, no charges filed. A 3-year-old boy in critical condition shot on Chicago's south side. The child was in a parked car, according to Chicago police, along with 2 other children and his mother near 52nd and Peoria. A man is dead after being struck in Pleasant Prairie, Wisconsin, just across the Illinois border. Police say it happened around 7 last night along State Highway 165. Police are asking for your help in finding the driver of a small sedan-type car they say struck the pedestrian. A carbon monoxide leak blamed for causing the evacuation of an ice rink in the western suburbs. The leak first reported last night at Center Ice of DuPage and Glen Ellen after players from 2 high schools were sickened. Bulls got their first preseason win, beating the defending champs Toronto 105-91. Cubs' list of candidates for their managerial vacancy down to 1 after Carlos Beltran declined the team's request to interview for the job. The news, a service of Staples. Staples gives your business more for less. At Staples, you'll find the latest tech to help you work smarter, not harder. And right now, save up to $200 on select printers. Staples, for your business printing and beyond, ends 11/2/19 while supplies last. Exclusions apply. 7:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Doors or windows sticking? Uneven floors? New cracks in your drywall or exterior brickwork? Bowing basement walls? Does any of this sound familiar? Hi, I'm Roy Spencer, president of Permaseal. Many homeowners across Chicagoland are experiencing these symptoms of structural foundation issues. All too often I hear of a homeowner that paid for an expensive consultation just to determine the problem. Don't be one of them. Call Permaseal at 800-421-SEAL. Our certified structural consultants will thoroughly evaluate your foundation and offer a permanent solution at absolutely no charge. From Waukegan to DeKalb to Kankakee, we're committed to providing you with quality products and the superior service that you deserve. Call Permaseal today at 800-421-SEAL. When the work is done, you'll have a transferable warranty along with priceless peace of mind. That's 800-421-SEAL or visit permaseal.net.
Known best for being better, Permaseal.
Okay, forest animals, today is a new day. Kids are coming to the forest, and it's up to us to make their visit a good one. Sparrow.
Yes?
Have you practiced the most popular bird songs for the year?
Of course.
Catchy. I like it. Okay, River.
Dude.
How's the temperature?
It's a refreshing 52 degrees, man. Perfect for a little riverside shoeless relaxation.
Ah, good. Owl, you here? Course. Who's asking? I am. Look, you know the drill. Sleep during the day, scare the kids at night. Perfect. I love my job. Oak Tree?
What's up?
Still in the same place I left you last year. That's what I like. Consistency.
Well, it's not like I'm going anywhere for the next couple hundred years.
I know. I love it. Turtle. Turtle.
He's not here yet, man.
He's late every morning. You'd think he would have learned by now to leave the night before our meetings. Okay, Squirrel! Has anybody seen Mr. Squirrel?
The forest has been preparing just for you. Visit a forest near you today. To learn more about cool things to do in the forest, visit discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
If you're a healthy, self-employed small business owner with income too high to qualify for an Obamacare subsidy, I have good news. Recent regulatory changes have created new, lower-priced health insurance options that are available to you right now. These policies include a nationwide PPO with access to Chicago's teaching hospitals like University of Chicago, Northwestern, Rush, and Lurie Children's Hospital. Did you know that a self-employed husband and wife team can purchase group health insurance that covers pre-existing conditions, even if they have no employees? Are you nearing the age of 65 and trying to figure out the Medicare maze? Call me. I can help.
If you're tired of calling a bureaucrat at an 800 number to help you navigate Obamacare, then you need a local expert on your side. Your own health insurance mentor. See Stephen Tucker from healthinsurancementors.com is someone I know and trust. He's a 20-year licensed broker who's been educating our listeners for 7 years. Steve, how can our listeners get in touch with you?
Thanks, Dan. They can visit healthinsurancementors.com or call me directly at 630-674-1551.
At Panera, get breakfast that's fast, not fast food. Try a new Chipotle chicken scrambled egg and avocado breakfast wrap and pair it with a premium freshly ground, freshly brewed coffee. All ready to go with the push of a button. Panera, food as it should be.
7:07 AM 560 traffic center time, and here is Jim Telemonte.
Outbound I-57 traffic is jammed 119th to 127th. The roadway is closed from 127th to Sibley for investigation of an incident involving a pedestrian. Inbound I-57 traffic moves well. Bishop Ford just has a 2-minute delay, Cottage Grove to the merge. Eden's 21 minutes either way between Lake Cook and the Junction. Kennedy, 28 minutes, so Heron to downtown, heavier in the express. Outbound, 53 minutes. Airport traffic, it's especially heavy Montrose to Harlem with a reported collision. Eisenhower, just 33 minutes, 390 to downtown. Stevenson, 39 minutes, 355 to the drive. Ryan, 22 minutes from 95th. Northbound tri-state delays from the Stevenson to the Hinsdale Oasis and Reagan Tollway to Irving Park. That's traffic. I'm Jim Telemonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center and meteorologist Steve Williams.
Today, mostly sunny, cool, and the high at 52. Some clouds tonight, low 41. Cloudy and a few showers tomorrow, the high 62. Partly sunny, windy day on Wednesday with a high at 51. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
37 at O'Hare, next news 7:30, and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Retire Chicago. Tune in Saturday mornings at 8 to Retire Chicago with John McNamara of McNamara Capital.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. It is Columbus Day. That means if you're a member of Antifa or some other group of left-wing cranks and thugs, you'll be looking for a Columbus statue to deface and otherwise vandalize.
Is it Columbus Day or Indigenous Peoples Day, or a little bit of both?
It's Columbus Day. For me, I don't know what it is for you. I guess you can rewrite history how you see fit, Howard Zinn style, since he's, I think, credited mainly for this propagandizing against Christopher Columbus, the agitprop that Howard Zinn produced under the cover of American history, the people's history of the United States, of course. The truth is, of course, that Columbus, the actual truth, separated from Zinn's agitprop, all of the talk about Columbus mistreating indigenous people, all of the talk about Columbus being out for gold and riches and aggrandizement, his exploration, if you know your history, which I know most don't, was religious. That was his motivation.
Well, I remember hearing about Christopher Columbus on The Sopranos.
Mr. Cushman is teaching your son that if Columbus was alive today, he would go on trial for crimes against humanity like Milosevic in, Europe.
Your teacher said that.
It's in my history book.
So you finally read a book and it's bullshit.
Look, you had to walk in Columbus's shoes to see what he went through. People thought the world was flat, for crying out loud. Then he lands on an island with a bunch of naked savages on it. I mean, that took a lot of guts.
Who cares? It's what he did.
He discovered America is what he did. He was a brave Italian explorer. And in this house, Christopher Columbus is a hero. End of story.
It's shocking that Tony Soprano knows more about American history than do many academics, including Howard Zinn. But, of course, they have a different agenda. Point of fact, the goal that Columbus was seeking was to fund a crusade to take Jerusalem back from the Muslims. That's a fact. It's also the fact, and Carol Delaney, among other historians, have documented this, that rather than cruel, Columbus was mostly benign in his interaction with native populations. While deprivations did occur, Columbus was quick to punish those under his command who committed unjust acts against local populations. He strictly told the crew not to do things like maraud or rape, and instead to treat the native people with respect. There are many examples in Columbus's writings where he gave instructions to this effect. Most of the time when injustices occurred, Columbus wasn't even there. There were terrible diseases that got communicated to the natives, but he can't be blamed for that. Not that he was without flaw, because he was just a human being in 1492. But, in terms of the rewriting of American history that we're wont to do. By the way, another day we should commemorate today, since we couldn't do it yesterday, and that's what would have been the 94th birthday of Margaret Thatcher, the Prime Minister of the UK, in one of her great speeches against socialism. Just to memorialize her a bit, since we don't have audio of Christopher Columbus, and we just have a defense from Tony Soprano, we do have audio of Margaret Thatcher.
One of the great debates of our time is about how much of your money should be spent by the state and how much you should keep to spend on your family. Let us never forget this fundamental truth. The state has no source of money other than the money people earn themselves. If the state wishes to spend more, it can do so only by borrowing your savings or by taxing you more. And it's no good thinking that someone else will pay. That someone else is you. There is no such thing as public money. There is only taxpayers' money. And prosperity won't come by inventing more and more lavish public expenditure programs. You don't grow richer by ordering another checkbook from the bank. And their demands have to be reconciled. How very pleasant it would be. How very popular to say, spend more on this, expand more on that. And of course we all have our favorite causes. I know I do. But someone has to add up the figures. Every business has to do it. Every housewife has to do it. Every government should do it. And this one will.
Those are revolutionary statements today. I mean, they didn't seem so revolutionary back during Reagan and Thatcher, their respective heights, but it certainly does today, where Bernie Sanders is running on the criticism of frontrunner Elizabeth Warren that she's really a secret capitalist. That's his criticism to half of the country. She's a secret capitalist. I'm the real thing, the real socialist. By the way, favorite Margaret Thatcher line of mine.
Yes, what?
I know everybody always goes to the problem of socialism is you run out of other people's money. That's a good one. My favorite.
That is my go-to. How did you know?
Yeah, I figured. My favorite. No one would remember the Good Samaritan if he only had good intentions. He had money as well.
Oh.
For more on these topics and a few others, we're pleased to be joined again by Don Boudreau, American economist, George Mason University, where he co-directs the program on the American economy at the Mercatus Center. And also you get his writings at Cafe Hayek, which is a great blog. Don, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. It's hard to follow Tony Soprano and Margaret Thatcher.
We're showing off our range here on this show this morning, Don.
Over here, Don.
That is true. I didn't really think about that.
Yeah.
That is quite
we
the
got
span.
you covered, if you know what I mean.
I'll ask you to comment on either, but probably Margaret Thatcher would be more center cut for you. What about listening to what she had to say some 3 decades ago? And then the Bernie Sanders criticism over the weekend, trying to get back into this race. The problem with Warren is she's not an authentic socialist.
Yeah, the world just gets crazier and crazier. If Thatcher were alive today, you can only imagine how she'd respond. First of all, if she were not, she is a socialist by most reckonings. I wish she were not so much. But what you said earlier captured it. The very fact that half the country finds it to be a criticism of someone, that someone might be a capitalist, is sad and telling and very dispiriting. It's we've taken a terrible turn, and you've mentioned a lot of my favorite Thatcher lines. One of my other favorites is at one point she held up Friedrich Hayek's Constitution of Liberty. My blog is Cafe Hayek, and she told the British Parliament, this is what we believe in. This is the old British style protection of liberties, protection of capitalism, protection of markets, protection of the rule of law and private property rights. That is going, unfortunately, out of the window now, it seems, and we have to protect against that if we can.
One of the things, too, it's just a constant struggle. I'm sure you get even more exasperated by it than I do, but the Wall Street Journal reporting on Friday as there's this trade war truce between China and the United States. China emerges with wins from U.S. trade truce. American consumers win when the trade truce occurs, as do Chinese consumers. But it's always the wrong perspective. It's treating the discussion on trade as like the U.S. corporation and the China corporation rather than individual people, individual business owners, individual American consumers. It just annoys me to no end because it's the maleducation of the public.
Perfectly said. Perfectly said. The standard view that is out there is that we Americans win the more we export and the less we import. It's the opposite, as you suggest. We Americans win the more we import, that we get in imports in exchange for our exports. I would love it. I would love it. Every American would love it if the Chinese would send us stuff for free. Unfortunately, they don't do that. They demand our stuff in return. But the perspective that for some odd reason that's out there in the public is that when we get that exports are a great benefit, and that unfortunately we have to suffer taking imports in exchange. The plastics and the steel and the consumer electronics and the clothing that we get. These are all burdens that we must bear for the privilege of being to work for and send our stuff to foreigners. It's just crazy, backwards nonsense.
How would you, if you were advising, if you were there with Larry Kudlow trying to advise the president in the direction of freer trade, what would you say to build on this this temporary détente to try to get it to permanent détente?
Boy, how to do it politically. I just think Trump is so thick-headed when it comes to trade. He's just terrible on it. I don't know how it would change his mind, but if he would ask what's my perspective on the way the world works, I would say, look, you want to make America great again? I'm all in favor of that. First of all, I think we're still great by most measures, but if you want to improve the lives of Americans, right, then rely upon what has worked historically. Let Americans be free to spend their money as they choose, be free to invest their money as they choose. If the Chinese or the Uruguayans or if the Germans, whoever it might be, offer our American citizens deals that are best in their eyes, how do we make them better by preventing them from accepting those deals? We don't. So let them accept those deals. Let them spend their money as they choose. That will improve Americans' living standards better than any restraints that the government can put on our commercial dealings with foreigners.
We have a trade war going on with China, but we also have an NBA war with China. And what do you think of this whole NBA and free speech?
So look, there's no question that the Chinese government is tyrannical. It's a beast. It's authoritarian. I despise it. I would not want to live under it. And so what you're referring to, obviously, is the tweet by the Houston Rockets general manager that the NBA took down because the tweet was in support of the Hong Kong protesters, and hence a tweet that was not liked by the tyrants in Beijing. I can't make a business decision for the NBA. The NBA has to make a business decision itself. I mean, it's got a lucrative market in China. the authoritarians in Beijing put conditions upon American companies doing business there. But what I disagree with is this notion that we, the United States government, would make matters better by further restricting American companies' freedoms. The Chinese government's perfectly good at doing that. It basically in this case, it's telling the NBA, look, if you want to do business here, you can't say certain things. It's horrible, right? Maybe if I were an NBA team owner, I would say this is unacceptable. We shouldn't do business with these people. But what is not acceptable is for our government to tell the NBA, look, the Chinese government's taking some of your freedom away, so we're going to take even more of your freedom away by not even giving you the option of doing business in China. I don't believe that the U.S. government is any better at being an arbiter of how these decisions should be made than the business people on the ground. If I were the NBA, I probably would have made a different decision, but that's not my place to say. But I certainly do not think it's business of the United States government to say.
It is sort of a sad commentary, though, the juxtaposition between U.S. NBA business executives taking down tweets while pro-democracy protesters in Hong Kong are erecting a 4-meter Lady Liberty statue at the top of Lion Rock, a 500-meter peak in Hong Kong. I mean, the juxtaposition of what we're willing to kowtow to against their fight for freedom in Hong Kong is really something.
Yeah, I admire them greatly. You know, no one knows how it's going to turn out, but this may be, the defining political struggle or ideological struggle of maybe the first half of the 21st century. It could be akin to the American Revolution. You have two people that they're culturally similar, but they have long been politically separate. The Hong Kong people have known freedom, they've tasted freedom, they are enjoying the fruits of freedom, not only the material fruits, but the ethical fruits, the moral fruits, spiritual fruits of freedom as well. And they do not want to go, and they will not, and they are not going quietly into the dark night of authoritarianism. So they're fighting. And for the Chinese government in Beijing to suppress that, they can, but it's going to take a huge amount of cruelty and force. And we'll just see how it plays out. Obviously, like everyone who's decent, I'm hoping the people of Hong Kong win. I'm optimistic that they will eventually. Maybe not until a lot of blood is shed, unfortunately, but that was the same with the American Revolution. So I'm waiting, like a lot of people, with great anticipation to see how this plays out, because I believe it is a defining struggle going on now.
All right, we'll end there with the paraphrasing of Dylan Thomas and encouraging the Hong Kongans to rage against the dying of the light. Don Boudreaux, American economist. He is the co-director of the American Economy and Globalization Program at the Mercatus Center, George Mason University. And check out his recent columns on the topics we discussed, cafehayek.com. Don, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
My pleasure, as always.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
My name's David Hochberg. If you'd like to pay off debt, call Team Hochberg now about a cash-out refinance. During May, Team Hochberg helped listeners access $953,000 to pay off credit cards, student loans, car loans, medical bills, collections, and IRS tax liens, which saved them close to $19,000 a month. Since January, Team Hochberg has saved listeners over $74,000 a month, which is an annualized savings of over $888,000. What are you waiting for? Call Team Hochberg now to see if we can help you pay off debt and substantially reduce your monthly payments with a cash-out refinance. Think of all the things you could do with an extra $500, $1,000, or $1,500 a month that you'd be saving. Call Team Hochberg now at 855-56-DAVID or visit 56david.com. Team Hochberg has helped thousands of AM 560 listeners, but we can't help if you don't call 855-56-DAVID or visit 56david.com. Homeside Financial, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 1124061.
Take a moment and picture your daughter. Society puts this unbelievable pressure on her to achieve, to win, to project perfection, and it affects her. I've told you about Northridge Prep for boys. Now I'd like to tell you about their sister school, Willows Academy. Girls thrive at Willows because the pressure just isn't there. There's no boys to create a social pecking order. It's a culture where what matters is how good a friend you are, not Instagram. Their all-female faculty creates a warm environment where girls can be their best, not perfect. And not surprisingly, in this environment, girls actually do achieve. The Willows goal is to produce leaders, and it succeeds. Willows girls attend the top universities like MIT and Notre Dame. Willows has a strong liberal arts curriculum, small class sizes, personalized attention, and one-on-one mentoring. They're an independent Catholic school for grades 6 through 12 with your strong values. Learn more at their open house on November 3rd. Register online at willowsacademy.org. That open house, November 3rd. Register at willowsacademy.org.
Hey everyone, Ken here. For 2 years now, you've heard Carrie and I use metaphors to test to see if you think your home or your business could use a revenue shot in the backside. Today, because of our new website, I can be a little bit more direct. Income Store has 2 doors. If you have more time than money, you're going to live under door number 1. You're going to see over 400 digital assets, 5 to 20 minutes apiece, that'll teach you how to manage numbers and lead people, or show you 6 growth tips you've never heard of. All of this so you can start growing your home or your business revenue literally immediately. If you have more money than time, door number 2 is going to be for you. You can view some of our managed services, look for more done-for-you packages. 34% of Americans in 2018 visited one of our managed services. Forbes 3 years in a row quoted, Income Store is an expert at generating home or business revenue. If you'd love to explore how to check out adding revenue to your home or business, just go to incomestore.com. That's incomestore.com.
Balance of Nature, changing the world one life at a time.
Scientific research has shown that many cancers and lifestyle diseases can be prevented with a diet rich in fruits and vegetables. This prevention comes from the phytochemicals in the plants. I don't take any supplementation, but I take Balance of Nature because I've seen it in my lab and I know that it works. I've seen the immune response increase, I've seen your DNA repair capacity increase, and I've seen DNA protection. And that, to me, as a scientist, rings so true, and it's only natural.
Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. From now until Columbus Day, Balance of Nature is offering $25 off and free shipping on your first preferred order of Balance of Nature. This special is ending between now and October 14th, so don't wait. Call 800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
AM 560, The Answer.
So Governor Jelly Belly is almost ready to return to the Joffrey, I understand.
Well, in case you didn't know, Pritzker has tossed the crutches that he's been on since discovering in August that he fractured a leg.
He's going with
ordered off of it.
He's going with a rascal with a little flag on the back, like a little flag of the state of Illinois on the back of it. That'd be good.
No, so he said that he told Snead that he's feeling 95% better, and he wanted to thank the kids at the Joffrey Ballet because they can empathize with him, believe it or not. They sent him a get well video reminding him that dancers know about the stress of leg fractures.
Hi, Governor Pritzker. My name is Olivia Che. My name is Princess.
This is Jonathan Dole with the Joffrey Ballet.
I recently heard that you fractured your femur, and I'm so sorry to hear that. I just wanted to let you know that we as dancers experience these things all the time. At the Joffrey, we have PT services available to us.
Please feel free to come swing by the Joffrey Tower.
We can give you some tips on how to get better soon.
Speedy recovery. I really hope you feel better.
And we hope to see you sometime in rehearsal soon.
Now, we didn't put that song. That song is part of the get well video that they sent.
Governor Jelly Belly weighs more than the entire Joffrey Ballet.
That guy's got a serious weight problem. Go home, start exercising.
I'll tell you, they were very generous, though, those kids at the Joffrey Ballet, and I have great respect for their talent.
Oh, yeah.
It's so difficult. I wish more conservatives were in the arts because I have great respect for their talent, but they're just so dim-witted when it comes to anything outside their space. I will say
pain,
though,
Dan, and
no, that was very, very generous. Because when they have an injury, it's because they're they're 3 feet in the air spinning.
Right. And it's not like they're walking at a state fair. That's how he got his injury.
Right.
And the pressure of his body weight just crumpled his femur.
Show me the Joffrey Ballet dancer who has suffered a leg break standing.
Okay.
They're breaking extremities just under their own weight. I don't think so. By the way, just in terms of Everybody Hurts, I can't think about that now.
What?
If you want to see a great rendition of Everybody Hurts,
Yeah.
you know I'm sort of a talent show geek.
I know.
Britain's Got Talent. Irish priest named Father Ray Kelly.
He sang the song.
He sang the song. It was fantastic. And Simon Cowell loved it too.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
There's a little tip
Thank
for you.
you.
A little art tip.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We have an update on the CPS-CTU strike that's scheduled for this Thursday.
Midnight.
Yeah, we got a public school parent right here. Is a little jumpy this morning, 7:37.
But first, let's head into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
And expected this afternoon and evening, a big walkout after they meet this evening. All three unions are expected to meet at the Chicago Temple and then have a walk through downtown. 37 degrees at 7:31, and a frost advisory is up for the west and northwest suburbs. Former White House Russia advisor Fiona Hill scheduled to testify today in the House impeachment inquiry. Defense Secretary Mark Esper says the Pentagon is focusing on protecting U.S. troops as they pull out of northern Syria.
So I spoke with the president after discussions with the rest of the national security team, and he directed that we begin a deliberate withdrawal of forces from northern Syria.
That on Fox News Sunday. Police in Fort Worth, Texas are investigating after a police officer shot and killed a black woman inside of her home over the weekend. Lee Merritt is the attorney for the victim.
She went to investigate at the window. An officer was on the other side who shouted commands, and before she had a moment to respond, he shot her to death. That's murder.
Body cam footage shows the officer using a flashlight to look in the window, seeing someone inside, telling her to put her hands up, then shooting and killing the 28-year-old. Emergency crews here are cleaning up after a deadly car versus pedestrian crash along I-57 in Posen. A person was hit by a vehicle early this morning near Sibley Boulevard. The investigation continues. Chicago's celebrating Columbus Day today. The parade begins around 1 p.m. No mail delivery today. Lots of schools closed. Bond markets are closed while the stock market remains open. A 3-year-old boy is in critical condition after he was shot on Chicago's South Side. The child sitting in a parked vehicle with his mother and 2 other children last night near 52nd and Peoria. And the Indiana State Police are inviting people to join them in remembering a fallen state trooper. Trooper Peter Steffen died Friday night in a crash while on duty. Steffen was 27. Bulls get their first preseason win over the champion Raptors, 105-91. Blackhawks on the ice tonight against the Oilers. The news service of Mattress Firm. At Mattress Firm, for a limited time, take home a free adjustable base with the purchase of $699. Plus, get up to $400 in savings and enjoy 0% APR for 6 years. 0 down, 0 due at signing. Shop the Save Big Sale online or in-store. 7:34, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Tickets for Freedom Summit 2019 sold out in record time in response to the high demand. We've opened up an overflow room for attendees to watch the event on Saturday, November 2nd at the Westin Chicago Northwest. Overflow tickets are on sale now, but are selling fast. Get yours at freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com. Sponsored in part by Glass Doctor, Unistaf, DS Arms, the Chimney and Fireplace Authority, and by Mars Medical Equipment and Supply.
Want your home's furnace to stay safe and reliable? And want to prevent any potential problems before they happen? At your local 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning, we recommend an annual furnace inspection and tune-up. Right now, get big savings on a furnace tune-up. Call 855-1-HOUR. Because not taking care of your furnace, that's just cold.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1 Hour.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
No matter how long it's been, when you're back together, you still get that good old-fashioned feeling. Even though you've been apart, it's as though you've never left. That's right. Football season is back.
Reignite your spark right here on the Husky Sports Network.
The NIU Huskies battle the Miami Redhawks this Saturday afternoon at 1:30. Don't miss a minute of the action right here on AM 560. The Answer.
Balance of Nature. Changing the world, one life at a time.
Scientific research has shown that many cancers and lifestyle diseases can be prevented with a diet rich in fruits and vegetables. This prevention comes from the phytochemicals in the plants. I don't take any supplementation, but I take Balance of Nature because I've seen it in my lab and I know that it works. I've seen the immune response increase, I've seen your DNA repair capacity increase, and I've seen DNA protection. And that, to me, as a scientist, rings so true, and it's only natural.
Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. From now until Columbus Day, Balance of Nature is offering $25 off and free shipping on your first preferred order of Balance of Nature. This special is ending between now and October 14th, so don't wait. Call 800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
7:36 AM 560 traffic center time. And here's Jim Telemonti.
Northwest side, eastbound Irving Park is blocked, Nottingham to Oak Park Avenue due to a crash. Outbound Kennedy and westbound 190 traffic is jammed. There's a crash reported near Mannheim. Looking at about 55 minutes downtown to O'Hare right now. Inbound 32 minutes to the airport to Burns Circle. Eden's 19 minutes, Lake Cook to the junction, outbound 24. Eisenhower, 41 minutes, 390 to downtown, outbound 37. Stevenson, 42 minutes, 355 to the drive. Ryan, 21 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57 is now clear, Bishop Ford to 12. Northbound Tri-State delays are from the Stevenson to 47. The Reagan Tollway to the Grand Avenue curve. Northbound Veterans Memorial heavy, 63rd to past Roosevelt. That's traffic. I'm Jim Telemonti on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Sunny and cool, 52 today, clouds and 41 overnight. Showers tomorrow, a high of 62. 37 at O'Hare. It is 30 this morning in Aurora. And your next news update is at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Real Estate Revealed with Randy Barcella, Sunday mornings starting at 8.
That's Father Ray Kelly.
Justin's on it. He knows.
Really good. Better than Michael Stipe, I'd say.
Let me hear a little more. Ooh, okay, now I know what you're talking about.
There it is. There's the money.
Well, was he wearing his uniform or outfit? What do you call it?
Yeah. It's very respectful.
The home or away team uniform.
Yeah.
What was he wearing?
Yeah. He was.
The travel priest outfit, or
yeah, he
the
had
gray with the black and the.
Are you done? Yeah, he had the collar on. Is the
Okay,
answer to your question? Okay. All right. Speaking of godlessness, the Chicago Public Schools.
Hey.
They are scheduled for a strike on Thursday. Can't seem to get Chicago Teachers Union to accept $99,000 median salaries. It's tough. It's tough sell. 312-642-5600. Turnkey.pro answer line 64636DA. Turnkey.pro text line. Who's ready for a little Patco action? A little Reagan-era Patco action.
Oh, that's right.
Get rid of the air traffic. You go,
controller.
you strike, we replace you. No problem. Do you think we could find, 25,000 teachers in addition to, or including those who would cross the picket line if they move to actually RIF those teachers and hire new ones? I bet you we could for $100,000.
312-642-5600. Turnkey.pro answer line 64636. Type in DA, then a quick comment.
Wouldn't that be a fun market test? You know, I say this, I've said this before, I'll say it again. You don't really have any market test of public sector salaries. Here's a way to have a market test. Have people bid on the jobs the same way they would bid on public contracts. Then you find your market clearing salary plus benefits package. You think it would be $100,000, not including the benefits package, not including the $2 million present value pension guaranteed, as long as the money's there? I think it'd be real interesting. Here's what's going on. Flannery
and they've been meeting all weekend, and they're meeting again today. And trying to avoid the strike. If it is announced, it will be announced at midnight on Wednesday. So there would be no school on Thursday. Also, this is why I think there might be a strike. They've changed the PSAT testing from Thursday to Wednesday, and they changed the Amundsen von Steuben football game, which I know you all care about, from Thursday to Wednesday.
Fascinating.
Well, they want to make sure they get it in so it's on the records so they can go to the state playoffs.
If we could now, if we could kind of
Hone in on
expand
what's
out
going.
from Allman Brothers High School a little bit. Flannery fired out Mike Flannery in Fox Chicago. Had a panel discussion on the topic, including. I'm so glad Flannery got this guy on because you can't do a better job of explaining their position than to have the editor of Jacobin, a socialist magazine, Jacobin. The Jacobins were thugs at the time of the French Revolution, you'll recall. It's amazing that they don that moniker as something that is laudatory. But okay, Micah Utrecht is the editor of Jacobin. And he explained there's two kinds of unionism, and he explained which kind the Chicago Teachers Union is practicing.
Affordable housing is among the demands that this teachers union is putting in. They also have, that's in addition to reducing the length of the school day and reducing the amount of classroom time and demands for wage increases. Affordable housing?
Well, there are multiple ways you can do unionism. You can do a unionism that only fights for your own members' pay and benefits and just tries to fight on those kind of bread and butter issues and advance your members that way. Or you can view your union as a vehicle to fight for the common good, to fight for the entire working class of your city, of the country, of whatever. And clearly the Chicago Teachers Union has taken the latter route. They are committed to not just fighting for pay increases for themselves, but using the union to fight for things that benefit the entire Chicago
Can I ask you
working
about
class.
this, Mike?
Do you feel like, if you're not a member of CTU, do you feel like you are because they're fighting for you? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line.
But you have to remember that what they are banking on here is that the strike is the ultimately powerful weapon of working people, and that they can use that.
Well, but they put the pain on the working people, not on them.
But they're using the strike in order to fight for working people, in order to fight for better, caps on class sizes for more social workers, for all of those services that those students that you're talking about really need. The strike is the means by which they can fight and win those things.
Willie Wilson?
You see, they're going to strike, and the costs will be imposed on you, but it's also that you can get all of the benefits the union promises, not just to you, but to all working people in this utopian paradise of Chicago. Do you see?
That's a bunch of gobbledygook. Oof.
They're striking for you.
For you, right.
It's not for them. It's not just for them, I should say. I don't want to overstate the case because there's no need. It's not just for them. It's also for you, Amy. So you think, oh, well, that's going to be inconvenience because my boys will be out of school. I got to pay money for babysitters. I got to make accommodations in my work schedule. Maybe I can't go to work. Sure, those could be some short-term costs, but you have to realize the long-term benefits of being represented by the Chicago Teachers Union and the improvements to the lives of working people that will happen when your sons have 3 social workers following them around at school.
Well, CTU Teachers Union has modified demands of 2 key issues, okay? Just hear me out.
Their affordable housing demand?
No, class sizes and staffing. So they want to, they're willing to accept a phase-in on a proposal to cap class size and increase staffing of social workers and case managers and school nurses, but they want to begin in neighborhoods where the need is most.
A good way to cap class size or reduce cap class sizes? Keep doing what you're doing. You'll reduce class sizes over time, just as CPS CPS used to have 425,000 students. Today, it's under 350. The combination of people leaving, people exiting Chicago, not to mention the opportunity scholarships and the charter schools. So CPS proper is hemorrhaging students. Just keep doing what you're doing, CTU, and frankly, CPS, and you'll reduce those class sizes post-haste.
And I'm
affordable housing.
Affordable housing.
Affordable housing is one of the demands in the teacher's contract. You can understand why Mike Flannery was a bit incredulous. He made mention of the fact, we do have a Chicago Housing Authority. We do have a housing and urban development at the federal level. affordable housing as part of the policy here, because as the Jacobin Utrecht said, this is not just about a contract. It's not just about our gold-plated salary and benefits. It's about all of the socialist agenda. That's what he was saying. It's about the entire socialist agenda. So when you have a CPS and a mayor that preach socialism, when you have avowed socialists on the city council that are driving the policy agenda, why not go for the whole socialist agenda as the Chicago Teachers Union? Why not do it? I don't blame them. Everybody is saying that the positions we take are the positions they hold, so why don't we hold them to account for it by memorializing in our contract? And you want to tell me the Chicago Teachers Union is wrong, or is the entire system wrong? Don't just scapegoat, Jesse Sharkey, no matter how easy it is. All he's doing is holding a mirror up to them. This is who you say you are. This is what you say you support. Put it in writing. Greg in Jefferson Park, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, good morning, guys. You know what this Jacobin guy failed to mention? It's all about the children, Dan. It's all about the children.
Always
is. I'd be delighted to teach a math class in a grammar school. You know what? I'm sure you guys did it too. You know what we all had when we were kids? Remember multiplication tables? That's how you learn how to multiply. Now, they don't do that anymore because I know a couple teachers, and I talked to them about that. These kids are coming out of school idiots, and every year we just keep paying them more and more and more, and it's all about the children, and they get dumber and dumber. It's astonishing, man.
Greg, thanks for the call. I'll tell you what they do understand, at least those union negotiators do. They understand the magic of compound interest, because that's how you can put $40,000 into the system and get $2.1 million guaranteed out for your pension.
The numbers don't make sense. And what they're offering them, my God, if you make $72,000 right now in 4 years, you're going to have $98,000. I would jump at this thing. Money, of course, that we don't have to give them, but.
Jan in Woodstock, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi. Listen, why doesn't Mayor Lightfoot just pass an ordinance in Chicago? They can pass ordinances that will hold up in the courts that they can't strike, just like the garbage men can't strike or the Park District people can't
Police
strike.
and fire.
I don't live in Chicago, but I wanted to go to one of those town hall meetings when Lightfoot was asking people what should they do with this budget. Hey, pass this ordinance that the teachers can't strike.
Thanks for the call, Jan.
That's a good man.
Yeah, but here's the problem. The problem, Jan, is how does Lori Lightfoot do that? How does the city council do that?
Oh, they would never do that because they need support from the unions and their money.
They run under cover of the CTU. And even though CTU supported Preckwinkle, Lori Lightfoot's still genuflecting before them. She is just more of the same. We're many months into her administration now. What's the evidence you've seen that she's any different than Rahm, despite a little bit more emphasis on, LGBTQ rhetoric, and really the anti-Trumpism, the sanctuary city stuff, the whole socialist rap. What's the difference? And now CTU knows they got her over a barrel, just like they had Tiny Dancer over a barrel. We'll strike. Who's going to win that strike? The same group that wins that strike every time. The politicians cave because that's the source of their, in part, political strength. It certainly will be a source of Lightfoot's political strength going forward. So why not cave? Because it's about extending my time in office on my terms. What do I care? CTU runs the show in Chicago and the other public sector unions, just as they do the state, because you don't have any politicians, including most Republicans, who will stand up to any of these public sector unions. SEIU, AFSCME, the teachers' unions. Which Republican leader said we're not taking money from, and I'm telling the members to not take any money from teachers' unions, SEIU, or AFSCME? No one.
No one.
Yeah. They're happy to take pennies on the dollar to what they give the Democrats to keep themselves protected and extended into office. I mean, if you think this is about a conversation about education or teacher compensation, This is a conversation about who's in charge permanently on everything. If you don't understand that, you are not seeing things clearly. This is not narrow. It is wide in scope. Comprehensive, in fact. That's how wide. For Lon on the south side.
This is all mafioso. It's the mob eating the mob. Anybody that's a student of history knows the union is nothing but the mob. And when it comes to politicians, going back to Old Man Daley and before, politicians is nothing but the mob. We don't have a dog in this fight. I feel sorry for the kids, but let them eat their own. Who cares?
Roland, thank you. Kyle in Woodridge.
Hey, two things. One, I say we fire them all, and I'm going to kind of sound like Sean and just go private with all of it and these false entitlement garbage. But the irony that made me laugh above all is that they're fighting for affordable housing when the garbage that they're doing is making housing unaffordable. So you guys have a good one.
Thanks, Kyle. Yeah, right. Yeah. Destroying the value of homes through property taxation, the majority of the property taxes to underwrite schools. That's right. But that's the sort of dot connecting that, unfortunately, a small fraction of Chicago and Illinois voters do. And certainly the politicians aren't going to help you out. The unions aren't going to help you out. You want to talk about collusion? Don in Bloomingdale.
I think we should give the teachers everything they want, meet all their demands, but in exchange, because this is a negotiation, the residents of the city of Chicago have the right to send their children to any school they want. This is how negotiations work. You give and take.
Thanks for the call, Don. Well, I mean, they technically have that right now, and thanks to the Tax Credit Scholarship Program, more and more are being able to access the financing to do so. But, I mean, you would say there'd be, like, what, a separate fund set up to fund more scholarships faster? I don't know. Trent in Northwest Indiana.
Yeah, good morning, Dan. Good morning, Amy.
Morning.
You know, if the teachers union happens to vote for a strike and go on strike, then the children are going to lose at least a whole grade of grade average of graduating. So if this strike goes on, then they're probably only going to graduate with a fifth grade graduation average. That's all I got. Thanks.
Thanks, Trent. Yeah, well, I mean, what's the numbers now? It used to, I mean, about a decade ago, it was 6 out of every 100 CPS graduates will get a BA by the time they're 25. I think it's up to like 12 or 13 now. Real inspired stuff. It's been well worth the billions of dollars we poured into the system, hasn't it? Tens of billions over that time. Steve in Hinsdale.
Yes, happy Columbus Day, Dan and Amy.
Thank you. Happy Columbus Day.
Did you get my card?
Yeah. Wait till recreational marijuana comes into play on the first of the year. This will be a great combo of unemployed 10th graders smoking dope every day. Yeah, think what kind of future they're going to have. You know what we really need? I think we need a new modern day Columbus like today to kind of move into Chicago and bring some culture, bring some new thinking. You know, it's about time for a Columbus, new one to come into Chicago and just kind of take over the city. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
Thanks
Bye-bye.
for the call, Steve. Jim on the north side.
Yeah, good morning. This number of 17,000 homeless students that the union keeps throwing out is not a real number. This is what happens. So if you live in a neighborhood that has a low-rated high school, and that's your district high school, but let's say you want your child to go to Lincoln Park High School, which is highly rated, all you have to do is your child walks in the office and say, I'm homeless. They have to, no questions asked, accept them as a student, and they're not allowed to investigate that claim that they're homeless.
I didn't know that one because I have a lot of friends that kids didn't get into Lincoln Park High School.
Are you a
but
teacher?
If they go in there and say I'm homeless, they have to accept them.
Are you a teacher or an administrator?
My family is
connected to
an
the school.
administrator.
Okay.
Well,
All right.
A principal.
What about a selective enrollment school? Does it work there too?
So
they know
I'm
it.
sorry?
So you know what you're talking about.
Well,
yes.
real quick, if it's a selective enrollment
Yes,
school,
I
does
got
that
this
work there
straight
too?
from the person who dealt with it.
All right.
And if it's selective enrollment, Amy asked that's
Does that principle still stand?
I'm not
in
sure about
policy?
that. I know that if you walk in any high school in Chicago or any school and say I'm homeless, they have to accept you. The principal is not allowed to investigate your claim of being homeless, and you just deal with it. They can't do anything about it.
Can you find out the answer about selective enrollment and get back to us, because Amy would like to send her 2 cents to Walter Payton and claim homelessness. Thanks, Jim.
It's what Chicago is talking about. It's Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560. The Answer.
Hi, this is Dr. Mike Andriano of Trinity Holistic Health Center. Over the last 25 years, I noticed that I and many of my patients lost the ability to lose weight. Detoxes, starvation, low fat, low carb, nothing works. Even with small appetites and healthy food, we still gain weight. And if we do lose a few pounds, one slip up and it all comes right back. For years, I searched for answers and finally discovered that toxins cause inflammation, and inflammation blocks hormones from telling your body to burn fat. Not just any inflammation, but inflammation at the cell membrane. Diets and detoxes don't address the root cause of weight loss resistance, but we do. My practice concentrates on finding and fixing the root cause of your problem, not just covering up symptoms.
If this sounds like you, go to lifedoc.am or call 1-833-LIFEDOC and learn how you can get help to lose those extra pounds once and for all. That's lifedoc.am or call 1-833-LIFE-DOC. Improving your home? Why not make it easy? Don't miss the free Home and Garden Show this weekend only at the Lake County Fairgrounds in Grays Lake. Find the ultimate in savings and convenience with thousands of the latest home products and services for the freshest ideas to remodel, repair, and beautify your home, inside and out. Get trusted advice on your upcoming projects as you speak with local and national experts who will help you with all your home improvement needs. And be sure to attend the free expert seminars and see live product demonstrations all weekend. Create an outdoor oasis with the latest in pools and hot tubs by P&W Spas. The finest in outdoor furniture from By the Yard. Then top it off with custom metal palm trees by Designer Palms. Plus, see the latest technology in robotic mowers and snow blowers. From interiors to exteriors, from decor to outdoor, you'll find it all at the Home and Garden Show this weekend at the Lake County Fairgrounds in Grays Lake with free admission and free parking. For details, visit LakeCountyHomeshow.com. That's LakeCountyHomeshow.com.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Mick O'Rourke, President and CEO of Signature Bank, Chicago's business bank. I'd like to thank our customers for selecting Signature as their trusted banking partner to help build their businesses. We started Signature in 2006, and we've had the opportunity to meet so many hardworking Chicagoans. From third-generation family-owned businesses on the west side of Chicago to tech innovators at 1871. Signature Bank is proud to work across many different industries in the city and beyond. As the fastest growing, independently owned business bank in Chicago, Signature is always welcoming new customers. I'd love to meet you and learn about your business.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
AM 560. The Answer.
Dan and Amy, I got to say on CPS, I love the calls that we get. Like, this is how you game the system, and then people pretend to be surprised. This is a Soviet-style system, and you're surprised that it's being gamed? Of course it's being gamed. That's how kleptocracies work. You game the game. You scam the scam.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll talk to Perry Marshall, an American online marketing consultant, about how to think more creatively at 8:08.
But now let's head straight into that newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
CPD still investigating a shooting that killed 5. The Chicago Hamilton actor's daughter dies. We'll tell you who and how that happened. WIND Chicago News Time. It's 8 o'clock.
Big sanctions on Turkey coming. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. President Trump tweeted that as the Turkish operation targets yet another city in Syria held by Kurdish fighters who were U.S. allies in the fight against ISIS. Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin just told reporters.
We're monitoring the situation carefully. As I said, the sanctions are ready to go. We'll be updating the president this morning, and when he makes the decision, we'll act.
Now, Europeans are also very critical of Turkey as the Kurds now get help from Syrian government forces moving into that area. Fox's Simon Owen live in London.
Dave, the European Union's 28 member states condemning what they call a military attack by Turkey. The Dutch Foreign Minister, Stef Blok.
It is against international law to invade a neighboring country. And Turkey should, as every other country, abide international law.
But after discussions in Brussels, the EU stopping short of imposing an embargo on sending weapons to Turkey. France and Germany had pushed that idea, but other countries said no. Dave?
Simon, the man who drove his car into a crowd of people outside Britain's parliament last year, hoping to kill as many as he could, just got life in prison. He did not succeed, but he did injure 3. A former Trump aide to Russia, Fiona Hill, will be questioned next hour at the Capitol by 3 House committees in the Democrats' ongoing impeachment inquiry the president calls a scam. Now, Democrats claim he violated his oath of office, asking Ukraine to investigate Joe Biden and his son. The president claims he was probing corruption. And Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, Hunter Biden is resigning from the Chinese firm BHR Equity Investment Fund Management effective at the end of the month. He's also vowing not to work with foreign companies if his father is elected president. The decision comes as President Trump accuses Hunter Biden of improperly benefiting from business deals in Ukraine and China when Joe Biden was vice president. The Bidens have denied any wrongdoing. The president tweeted on Sunday, "Where's Hunter? He's totally disappeared." Dave?
America's listening to Fox News. Sunshine in Chicago. It's a bit chilly this morning, 37 degrees, 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott, and there's been a frost advisory up for the west and northwest suburbs where temperatures have dipped as low as 29 this morning. Emergency crews are at the scene of a deadly car versus pedestrian crash as the investigation continues. Along I-57, a person was struck by a vehicle this morning near Sibley Boulevard. A 3-year-old boy is in critical condition, shot on Chicago's south side. That child was sitting in a parked vehicle with his mother, along with 2 other children last night near 52nd and Peoria when 3 gunmen walked up and started shooting. Chicago police are still investigating a shooting that left 5 dead over the weekend on the northwest side. A man shot and killed 5 neighbors Saturday night in a condo building in the 6700 block of West Irving Park Road. Teachers and support staff, along with Park District workers, gathering in Chicago today. Chicago Teachers Union and service employees are holding an indoor rally at the Chicago Temple. They'll march through downtown after that rally is over. Chicago Hamilton actor Miguel Cervantes is mourning along with his family following the death of his 3-year-old daughter. Adelaide Cervantes passed away in home hospice care Saturday following a long battle with epilepsy. Cervantes' wife Kelly shared the news on social media. Bulls winners over the Raptors 105-91 in Toronto. The Blackhawks take on the Oilers tonight. It's 8:03. Time for the AM 560 Business Beat, a service of Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Visit signaturebank.bank for your commercial banking needs. Now the latest from Wall Street from Fox Business.
I'm Deirdre Bolton, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Japan-based investment firm SoftBank Group is looking to take over majority control of office rental company WeWork. The package would diminish the remaining control held by co-founder Adam Neumann, who stepped down as CEO when the company's value plunged and its plans to go public collapsed. Reuters says SoftBank is in negotiations to make $1 billion investment to restructure WeWork. Without it, WeWork could be out of business by December. Global stocks are mixed this morning. There are still questions about the U.S. and China reaching a broader trade deal, though a limited agreement was reached last week. The World Trade Organization is officially sanctioning the U.S. to impose tariffs on up to $7.5 billion worth of imports from the European Union in retaliation for illegal subsidies to plane maker Airbus. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Ginny Cosola, invested in you.
It's 8:04, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity wants the Democrats to take it to a vote.
They want their coup trial. Okay, fine. It's got to be fair. That's why the White House is saying you're not getting access to anybody until you have a vote in the House. Let them go on record saying they support this madness. They are the willing accomplices in this coup attempt.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
Attention maintenance coordinators. Fans are a vital part of your business's building or factory. You've got to keep the air moving. But when they break down or need service, who can you call? Vans Industrial repair all types of fans, from small wall fans to large air movers.
Hi, I'm Dave Van Camp, president of Vans Industrial. Fan repair is one of many services that Vans offers. If you have a fan with a damaged shaft, bearing, impeller, or housing, we can help. And if you need a new fan, we handle all major brands and can provide engineering assistance to properly size your new fan. Our crews can respond to your emergencies or routine maintenance and will have your fan back up and running fast. And when we're done repairing your fan, we can also dynamically balance it so it runs smooth for years to come.
Vans uses only the best and safest union-trained mechanics, insured at the highest level, to perform the job right. Call 833-VANS-IND to get your fan repaired today. That's 833-VANS-IND. Or on the web at vansindustrial.com.
Okay, forest animals, today is a new day. Kids are coming to the forest, and it's up to us to make their visit a good one. Sparrow.
Yes?
Have you practiced the most popular bird songs for the year?
Of course.
Catchy. I like it. Okay, River.
Dude.
How's the temperature?
It's a refreshing 52 degrees, man. Perfect for a little riverside shoeless relaxation.
Ah, good. Owl, you here? Course. Who's asking? I am. Look, you know the drill. Sleep during the day, scare the kids at night. Perfect. I love my job. Oak Tree?
What's up?
Still in the same place I left you last year. That's what I like. Consistency.
Well, it's not like I'm going anywhere for the next couple hundred years.
I know. I love it. Turtle. Turtle.
He's not here yet, man.
He's late every morning. You'd think you would have learned by now to leave the night before our meetings. Okay. Squirrel. Has anybody seen Mr. Squirrel?
The forest has been preparing just for you. Visit a forest near you today. To learn more about cool things to do in the forest, visit discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
8:07 on AM 560. It's time for a dry basement and a healthy home. It's time to call Permaseal, 800-421-SEAL. Let's check the roads in the AM 560 Traffic Center with Jim Telemonte.
Kennedy outbound traffic is jammed. Costner to 190, where there's a crash reported at Mannheim, and this has a center lane blocked. We're looking at 57 minutes downtown to the airport. About 33 minutes O'Hare to downtown. Elsewhere, traffic's mostly lighter than usual on this Columbus Day. Eisenhower, 41 minutes, 390 to the Bird Circle, outbound 39. Stevenson, 42 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 37. Ryan, 22 minutes, 95th to downtown. On Lakeshore Drive northbound at Xavier Roosevelt to Jackson. Jackson and Balbo still blocked for marathon cleanup. Northbound tri-state delays are Archer to the Mylong Bridge, from Stevenson to 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to Lawrence. The other tollways have just mild delays. And that's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center and meteorologist Steve Williams.
Cooler day today, mostly sunny with a high only 52. Some clouds tonight, low 41. Cloudy with a couple of showers tomorrow, high 62. Partly sunny, windy, and cool Wednesday, the high at 51. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
38 officially at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Money Hour Radio Show, Saturday afternoons at 3 on AM 560, The Answer. Brought to you by Pearshell Financial Group.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. This is a sort of a pet geek issue of mine, evolution. But it's bigger than that. We're pleased to be joined by Perry Marshall. He's an American online marketing consultant and author of 80/20 Sales and Marketing and Evolution 2.0, Breaking the Deadlock Between Darwin and Design. That's where I want to go. But he's also got some suggestions, generally speaking, for entrepreneurs and entrepreneurship. He's he's a consultant and guru to a lot of successful entrepreneurs, including the people behind FanDuel, for example. But I want to talk about Evolution 2.0, at least for starters. Perry Marshall, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Good morning, Dan. Thanks for having me.
So, pun intended, give us the evolution, the evolution of Evolution 2.0. Someone's really a pun.
So my brother went to China as a missionary in 2000, and in 2004 I went to visit him, and I realized when I got there that he's not a Christian anymore. He's almost an atheist.
Mm-hmm.
And that was kind of a shock to my system. We're both pastors' kids, and I got in this argument with him, and I said, Brian, I said, look at the hand at the end of your arm. I said, I'm an engineer. This is a nice piece of engineering. You don't think it's a accumulation of random accidents, do you? And he goes, hold on, just a minute. And he came back with this whole answer. All you need is random mutations for millions of years. You don't need a designer. And scientists know this. And I listened to that and I thought, okay, I'm not sure that's right, but I also realized that I didn't really know. And I knew that a lot of biologists would agree with him and not me. And so I said, you know what? I am going to stop arguing with Brian. And when I get home from China, I am going to find out. I'm going to use my engineering sensibilities, and I can read a scientific paper, and I am going to get to the bottom of this, and I am going to let science make this decision for me. I had no idea how fascinating this was about to get. No idea. And that is where Evolution 2.0 came from. And a few months ago at the Royal Society in Great Britain, which is the oldest scientific body in the world, I announced a $10 million technology prize called the Evolution 2.0 prize to get to the bottom of really what is the mystery of life.
Well, I mean, and it's interesting, too, because the accepted wisdom around Darwin and the genesis of and development of life is increasingly rejected. It just doesn't get the amplification. I mean, it was 15 years ago, you had 500 scientists, including many renowned biologists and microbiologists, suggest that at minimum, Darwin's theory was incomplete. And more recently, you've had sort of the conversion of David Gelernter, who is not particularly religious. He's, of course, the famed computer science professor at Yale. And he basically just said, I went to look at the science, sort of the same thing you're suggesting, is sort of apply my skills as a logician and just looked at Darwin's theory versus what we now know to be true in 2019. And there are just huge gaps that don't explain the evolution of life on this planet, consistent with Darwin's theory.
Well, so that's why we call it Evolution 2.0, because it barely resembles the description that you were given in high school.
Mm-hmm.
What I found was, I found that there was two sides. So there was the creationist side, and well, evolution is a hoax, and all of that. And then there was the hard left side, which was, no, we've got it all figured out. And the truth was, both of these sides were really not telling you the whole story at all. What I found was bacteria can do more programming in 12 minutes than a team of Google engineers can do in 12 weeks. And that things evolve all the time. I mean, this is why you have to finish your antibiotics, because those germs will evolve. And it's not just microevolution, that you can get major evolutionary changes in very short periods of time.
Exactly.
But the creationists didn't want to tell you this, because then that would support evolution, and they can't have that. And the Darwinists weren't telling you this, because it turns out nature is way smarter than they ever told you. There's a lot of people, they try to dumb down nature when they describe it to you, when in fact, if any company in Silicon Valley knew what one bacteria knows, they would set the NASDAQ on fire.
Yeah, but Gelernter suggests the biggest flaw with Darwinism is how hard it would be to randomly make new functional proteins, and Darwin's evolutionary theory depends on a huge number of them. He didn't have the understanding of molecular biology that we do today, but that's a huge problem for his thesis.
Well, evolution is not random mutations. It's response to random things that happen by systems that sense everything going on in the environment. And so, like the latest Nobel Prize that just came out last Monday was all about the fact that cells respond to changes in oxygen and then change their DNA in response to that sometimes in minutes. Okay, and this affects cancer research and disease and so our understanding of evolution as not random mutations but purposeful adaptations to the environment, it goes to everything we're trying to do in medicine today. It's totally relevant, and the fact that this has been butchered by the left and by the right it's costing us lives, it's costing us medical progress, it's costing us technology. And so that's why we put a whole bunch of money behind a prize to get to the bottom of this.
Are you looking at all about some of the other things we misunderstand from sort of Darwin's time forward, including some of the critiques of Darwinism by like Thomas Malthus that is misunderstood as being being supportive of population control, when in point of fact Malthus was absolutely opposed to sort of those government-directed controls. But it's just our misunderstanding of what he was trying to say in his critique of Darwinism.
The abuse of evolutionary theory gave us Hitler, Stalin, Lenin, Mao, eugenics. And see, this is why we have to get this right. Evolution is not survival of the fittest. Evolution is survival of the most cooperative. All major evolutionary leaps are leaps in cooperation. So most people know that the thing that makes plants green is a chloroplast. Most people heard that in high school. But did you know that a chloroplast is actually a blue-green algae living in a plant cell? And every single thing you've ever seen that's green like the grass is green because you have algae in a symbiotic relationship with plant cells. Mitochondria, same thing. And so evolution has been badly misunderstood. And you're right. So Malthus, the word Malthusian means competition to the bitter death, right? I mean, and this is not how nature actually works.
Now, knowing what you know with this Evolution 2.0, are you still a Christian?
Absolutely. I think if people really understood evolution, the atheists would be trying to change the subject, and the Christians would be shouting it from the rooftops. I think there's more evidence for a divinely orchestrated universe in evolution than there is in anywhere else. It completely transformed my view of nature when I went down this rabbit hole.
All right, I want some practical secular applications for how you approach problem solving, including at the entrepreneurial level. I mentioned your status as a sort of a marketing guru consultant, and you wrote a piece over at Inc.com, which is a magazine for the small business owner, operator, entrepreneur, recently within the last few weeks about thinking about entrepreneurship and the sort of mental approach you should take to creating a business and pursuing the introduction of a new technique or a new product.
Nobody has to evolve faster than entrepreneurs. Every day, if you're an entrepreneur, you own a small business, every day you wake up with a gun to your head, make it better, make it faster, make it cheaper, make the service level go up, get more Google reviews, get more Yelp reviews. I mean, that's the game that you're in. And so I find that entrepreneurs understand evolution really well because you do have to improve. And almost all breakthroughs come when you bridge one branch of knowledge with another. And breakthroughs almost always come from outsiders. So Charles Darwin was not a scientist. He was studying for the ministry. And I actually do give him credit. I mean, a lot of people like to slam the guy. He did come up with a brilliant insight. He was a total outsider. He was not part of the establishment. Thomas Edison didn't have a degree from anywhere. Albert Einstein was a patent clerk. Innovations almost always come from the outside. I always tell entrepreneurs, read outside your field. Go to conferences that are completely different. Indulge your hobbies. Your best ideas are going to come from somewhere else. They're not going to come from what you are trained to do specifically.
He is Perry Marshall. He's an American online marketing consultant of some renown, author of 80/20 Sales and Marketing, as well as Evolution 2.0, Breaking the Deadlock Between Darwin and Design. And he's put $10 million down if you want to break that deadlock. By the way, if you haven't read it too, not for Perry, but just in generally, David Stove's book, Darwinian Fairy Tales, is really good on this topic that we were discussing as well.
Oh, I'm glad you mentioned that. Is a hilarious book. It will make you bust out laughing. It is. Wow, what a pick. I mean, I would never expect a radio host from somewhere to pull out that book title, but
I'm not your average radio host.
Darwinian
Perry
Fairy.
Marshall. Yeah.
No. I know. Don't mean to be that.
No.
I
I'm kidding.
you.
He's
I'm
very
kidding.
well read. Trust me.
And no, but I mean, and that's where I learned. I mean, I was under the same misimpression about Malthus that everybody else was. Who knows who Malthus is? And that's where it was debunked for me, is reading Stove's book. So there you go.
Oh, he gives the whole thing a giant spanking. It's hilarious.
Yeah, it's very good. Perry Marshall, thanks so much for joining us. Good luck with Evolution 2.0. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Do you want your basement to be dry most of the time? If so, Permaseal is not the company for you. At Permaseal, we believe your basement should be dry all the time, no matter how hard it rains. Hi, I'm Roy Spencer, president of Permaseal. I hear story after story of homeowners who say their basement only leaks when it rains. Well, you don't worry about your living room or bedroom getting wet when it rains, and you should feel the same way about your basement. Just call 800-421-SEAL. We offer a free estimate, no haggle pricing, and a price assurance guarantee, so you can rest assured that you're getting the best value. Your basement is already dry most of the time, but if you want your basement dry all the time, you know who to call. 800-421-SEAL. Permaseal has earned an A+ rating from the BBB and has received their 2016 Torch Award for Marketplace Ethics. That's 800-421-SEAL or visit permaseal.net.
Known best for being better, Permaseal.
Balance of Nature. Changing the world, one life at a time.
I do actually feel different and better since I've been taking the Balance of Nature. There has been an increase in energy that's noticeable, which is pretty amazing. You know, there are so many different options and so many things seem to be beneficial, but then the side effects negate any of the positives. And this product really is very unique, and just like to convey my appreciation. My wife is taking it as well, and she's already seen a benefit as well, so we're grateful.
Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. From now until Columbus Day, Balance of Nature is offering $25 off and free shipping on your first preferred order of Balance of Nature. This special is ending between now and October 14th, so don't wait. Call 800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Don't you love that feeling when you just nailed your look? When someone you barely even know comes up to you and says, "Oh, I love that outfit. Where did you get it?" That's how it feels to use Stitch Fix. They're a personal styling service. Tell them what you love, and they send great clothes for you to try on at home. Stitch Fix is simple. Sign up in just a few minutes. Tell them about the brands you love and the looks that make you feel great. Stitch Fix is convenient. Get everything delivered right to you, so you can try on new styles in the comfort of your own home. Stitch Fix is on your terms and priced to fit your budget. There's no subscription required, ever. Keep what you want and send back anything you don't. So, isn't it time you started nailing your look? Get started today at StitchFix.com. Stitch Fix, personal styling for women, men, and kids. Stitch Fix, personal styling for everybody.
Listen up, Chicago area. Are you interested in making active and passive income each month flipping real estate tax liens? Then listen to this. The ProSource Tax Lien Company is offering a free tax lien flip kit, which contains educational videos and a step-by-step report that will show you how to earn government-regulated returns up to 18% that are secured by real estate. Plus, see how you can access tax lien inventory not available to the public. So, if you want to become a real estate investor without swinging a hammer or being a landlord, then text Chicago to 31,000 now to get your free tax lien flip kit and get ready to learn how to flip tax liens and acquire houses well below wholesale prices with great profit potential, all from home working part-time. Text Chicago to 31,000 right now to get your free tax lien investor kit, plus 2 free tickets to a live training event, which includes a free smartwatch just for attending. Text Chicago to 31,000. That's Chicago to 31,000 for your free tax lien kit now. Individual results may vary.
AM 560. The Answer.
Dan and Amy, and boy, I'll tell you what, the hits keep on coming from that one congressional district in Minnesota. Before they gave us Ilhan Omar, they gave us Keith Ellison, who, in their infinite wisdom, the Minnesota electorate made their attorney general.
Yeah.
Keith Ellison, you remember him?
I remember he was almost had a Me Too moment.
Well,
but we
allegedly did.
Allegedly did, but
Yeah.
I didn't believe the victim
Yeah.
or alleged victim or
There were
liar.
problems with the one woman's story. There's no question about it. But it really bedeviled me to have to come to the defense of Keith Ellison, but we did.
Yes, we did.
Not to be attorney general, but just with respect to that one allegation by that one woman. Keith Ellison trying to make you forget about those allegations, tweeting out haircuts. This is the attorney general of a state in America.
All right. Yeah, Minnesota. What are we worried about?
It's still
now?
a state, right?
Yeah, it's still a state.
All right.
Thanks.
Haircuts for women cost more than those for men.
Well, yeah, duh. That's everywhere.
Also, healthcare, car repairs. Car repairs cost more for women than they do for men? Is it based on the customer or the car? I'm no attorney general. I don't know.
Well, he probably thinks men drive up the price for women because we don't know any better. We don't know how much a brake pad should cost.
Neither
Although
do
I do.
That's why I have a valet.
Well, if you get 4 brake pads replaced, it's around $300 to $400.
Depending on the car.
Right. Now mine,
Yeah.
$300.
Your car is $300 to $400. Haircuts for women cost more than those for men.
Well, yeah, we have more hair and it's more complex.
That's reality for the awesome AOC, to whom I'm sucking up. That's my parenthetical. And every other woman. It's morally wrong, and it threatens the economic security of women and everyone who depends on her income. It's the pink tax. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Should we have a federal law, it could be sponsored by the Socialist Spice Girls, that would seem appropriate, to mandate that women's haircuts cost no more than the $8 my haircut costs at Supercuts? What do you think? $8?
How much does it really cost for you to get your hair cut?
Well, I mean, that's between me and my stylist, number one.
Okay. Oh, do you still go to Jennifer?
Team of stylists.
Team.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have the color girl, that has to do my color, get rid of the gray.
Oh, right.
The gray on the
colorist,
sides.
And then you go to the hairstylist.
And then I got the head scalp rubbering girl.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm properly sedated during the cut.
Do they do the warm cloth on your face and then shave you?
Yeah.
If you want?
Yeah, oh, there's no question. And, and I basically have to sort of be in my place there. So, because
You sound like a priss.
Make me look like Chris Hemsworth.
Oh, right.
And so that takes some time.
Thor. I knew I had you pegged for somebody.
Yeah.
No, but guess how much it costs to get my hair cut? Not that you were going to ask me, but I'll just ask myself. It's a lot.
Really?
$95.
$95? I would thought that's relatively cheap, I think, isn't it?
No, that's about average. 65 to 100.
How much does it cost for Mike Scott to get his hair cut?
See, that's the thing.
No.
I know.
$9.99. Seriously.
Just a little polish
you go to
on top?
Supercuts?
No, heavens no. Why would I go there?
You go to a barber?
I go to a local hairstylist in my community.
Oh, he supports the local hairstylist.
I spend my money where I live.
There you go.
You have a hairstyle.
I don't have a stylist. No, they just take a machete to my head.
Yeah,
Barber. Well, yeah, no, you need to get trimmed up.
You could go to the bowling alley, just have that polish that
Absolutely.
thing up. So Mine's like $45 plus a generous
Ooh.
tip.
All right. Well, that would make sense because
yeah.
they do all the extras for you, obviously.
No, of course.
Did you get a hand massage too?
I used to go to King's Barbershop in Wheaton because
Yeah.
I like Mike, spend money in my local community, but I'm not in that local community.
I do
anymore.
Floyd's for my boys. It's $29 a piece for a kid's haircut.
Floyd's from
It's at-
Mayberry?
No, it's at
No,
Irving Park
it's a
in
chain.
Southport. Yeah.
It's a chain.
It is?
It's fun.
Yeah.
They play, it's a great place. And they give you, the facial rub if you need it and the scalp rub.
I'm not trying to be critical, but $95? You think you get your money's worth?
This is the worst haircut. My girl must have been sleeping. And I've gone to the same person for 19 years, and I'm questioning the latest do.
Are you thinking about doing maybe a throwback lid, like from your last prom, like do a little bit of big hair?
Yeah.
Go back to the big hair?
Yeah,
Little Farrah hair.
Maybe for your birthday coming up,
Oh,
you
we
could do a little bit of a big hair throwback.
Hey, the higher the hair, the closer to God. All right? So we said in Texas.
Nicholas on the Northwest Side, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, great show. I've been listening all the time, by the way, just that I used to work second shift, so I sleep late still, even though I'm retired 7 years.
Sure.
Some people have other comments about that. But anyhow, I knew a guy, this is about 15 years ago, I used to work with. His wife went to a stylist, and he charged $85. This is about 15 years ago, and but his name was Richard, but he went by Rashad, because the $85 wouldn't sound right. So, so I just, really. I mean, can you believe that? And I just had to toss that in. You guys have a great show. You're the ones I listen to. You know what you're talking about. Okay?
Thanks for the call, Nicholas, particularly when it comes to hair care, which is our expertise.
Yes.
Randy in Crown Point.
Morning, guys. I only wish I had hair to cut. Mine left me about 30 years ago.
Sad.
I would love to have that bill. I haven't had that bill. My wife takes 5 minutes. She's done. So these women can stop complaining.
Randy,
they have hair.
Randy, haven't you seen the billboards? You could be like Urlacher and Ryan Sandberg and get all that hair back.
Yeah, I guess I could. But you know what? I'll just put a ball cap on.
There you go.
It keeps my head warm in the winter.
Thanks, Randy.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We're going to get an update on the cases on gender identity before the Supreme Court from David Cortman from Alliance Defending Freedom at 8:38.
And later, misidentifying herself, how a 6-year-old girl was actually something different. We'll explain. But first, let's get into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Well, it was Northwestern University that did that study, Dan Proft, on whether women pay more than men. The Kellogg School of Business was the one that did that study back in 2013.
Thank you. The value of my degree gone down again.
There you go. 38 degrees and sunshine, and a frost advisory up for the west and northwest suburbs is expiring. Chilly this morning. UAW union members are on strike, but it's not what you think. This time it's against Mack Truck. Just announced 3,000 UAW members began picketing outside the truck makers' plants in Pennsylvania, Maryland, and Florida. President Trump's former White House advisor on Russia scheduled to testify in the House impeachment inquiry today. U.S. troops are leaving northern Syria, confirmation of that move from Defense Secretary Mark Esper on Fox News Sunday.
ISIS is not defeated. We have got to keep the pressure on ISIS so they don't recover.
That's former Defense Secretary James Mattis, who believes because of the troop movement, ISIS may resurge. If you ask the IRS for an extension in April before the deadline to file and pay all those taxes, well, that comes up tomorrow. People who don't file by then, you'll get hit with a fine, 5% a month on your unpaid taxes. Chicago celebrating Columbus Day today. The parade begins at 1 p.m. Chicago police still investigating a shooting that left 5 dead over the weekend on the northwest side. Teachers, school support staff, and Park District workers gathering in Chicago today for a union rally at the Chicago Temple. This morning, whoever runs the Upper Peninsula of Michigan's Twitter account is having a little fun, following a tweet by the University of Wisconsin football team demanding deed to the Upper Peninsula. The Badgers have beaten Central Michigan, the Chippewas, the Spartans of Michigan State this year in football by a combined score of 134-14, prompting this morning the Upper Peninsula Twitter account to proclaim, after the Spartans were blown out, it's official, I belong to Wisconsin now. Of course, I'm not telling you that Wisconsin beat my Michigan Wolverines, too. There may be some sort of settlement or bet based on tonight's NFL game between the Lions and Packers, and the UP may be Wisconsin territory by tomorrow. All in fun. Bulls get their first win of the preseason by beating the defending champion Raptors 105-91. Blackhawks take on the Oilers later on tonight. The news service of Mattress Firm for a limited time. Take home a free adjustable base with purchase of $699 plus. Get up to $400 in savings and enjoy 0% APR for 6 years. That's 0 down, 0 due at signing. Shop the Save Big Sale online or in-store. 8:35, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher sees another scam from the Democrats.
I got an idea. Vote on impeachment. Get it underway. Vote. And without a vote, nobody from the White House, the State Department, or the Trump administration should be testifying before this kangaroo court. The president is right. It's a scam.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Got tax problems? Want to get the IRS off of your ASS? Whether you are an individual or a business and are having problems with the IRS, let PJN Tax Solutions Group help you solve your problems. PJN Tax Solutions Group specializes in providing affordable solutions to business and individuals who, for whatever reason, find themselves at odds with the IRS. We will represent you in front of the IRS, allowing you to continue on with your life. You will not have to speak with an IRS agent. PJN Tax Solutions Group puts experts to work to solve your tax problems quickly and affordably. We offer a free consultation to review your case and explain your options. Would you go to court without an attorney? Then why would you represent yourself before the IRS? Call PJN Tax Solutions Group today at 630-415-5296 or visit our website at pjntaxsolutions.com. PJN Tax Solutions Group. Call us when you want the IRS off your ASS.
Balance of Nature. Changing the world, one life at a time.
I do actually feel different and better since I've been taking the Balance of Nature. There has been an increase in energy that's noticeable, which is pretty amazing. You know, there are so many different options and so many things seem to be beneficial, but then the side effects negate any of the positives. And this product really is very unique, and just like to convey my appreciation. My wife is taking it as well, and she's already seen a benefit as well, so we're grateful.
Experience the Balance of Nature difference for yourself. From now until Columbus Day, Balance of Nature is offering $25 off and free shipping on your first preferred order of Balance of Nature. This special is ending between now and October 14th, so don't wait. Call 800-2468-751 or go to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Blue Emu supports healthy muscles and joints. Blue Emu works fast and you won't stink.
It's 8:38 AM 560 traffic center time, and the very latest now with Jim Talamonte.
Outbound Kennedy traffic remains heavy from Lawrence to 190 going into O'Hare. There was an earlier crash at Manhunt. There's still heavy airport traffic. The travel times come down a bit. It's 35 minutes from downtown to the airport. Inbound 31 minutes, 21 from Montrose, 19 on the Express. The Edens, 19 minutes, Lake Hook to the Junction. Outbound 24. Eisenhower, 43 minutes, 390 to downtown. 25 from Manheim. Outbound 37 minutes, downtown to 390. Stevenson, 42 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 37. The Ryan, 22 minutes, 95th to downtown. All clear on I-57 to the Bishop Ford. Eastbound Adams, tollway traffic's heavy past Lee to the Tri-State. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from our 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Sunny and cool today. High 52. 39 officially now at O'Hare. Your next news update is at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560 The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by The Mortgage Update with Dan Frio. Every Saturday morning at 7 on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer.
Daddy, what do taxes pay for?
Oh, why, everything. Policemen, trees, sunshine.
On AM 560.
And let's not forget the folks who just don't feel like working, God bless them.
The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. That was some Some performance on Thursday night by the Democrat Socialist candidates for POTUS at that CNN LGBTQ town hall hosted by Fredo and Cricket and Gloria Vanderbilt's kid. And one of the exchanges that went viral to some extent, second to Elizabeth Warren's canned, pithy rejoinder to those who don't support the redefinition of marriage, was Bobby O'Rourke. Bobby O'Rourke still trying to restart his campaign for the 72nd time.
Well, and sometimes I think he just says things because he's so desperate that he's trying to get some attention, some traction from some crazy component of the Democratic Party.
I think that's right. I think it's a combination of that, and he's a dope. So that's probably what leads you to make statements like this.
This is from your LGBTQ plan, and here's what you write. This is a quote. Freedom of religion is a fundamental right, but it should not be used to discriminate. Do you think religious institutions like colleges, churches, charities, should they lose their tax-exempt status if they oppose same-sex marriage?
Yes. There can be no reward, no benefit, no tax break for anyone or any institution, any organization in America that denies the full human rights and the full civil rights of every single one of us. And so as president, we're going to make that a priority, and we are going to stop those who are infringing upon the human rights of our fellow Americans.
How you like your Democrat Socialist Party now, Democrats who profess to be people of faith? Like Muslims who attend mosques and African Americans who attend black churches that don't support the redefinition of marriage because they support the biblical view of marriage. Tax exempt status stripped. That would sort of eliminate a separation of church and state in point of fact, which is why the tax exemption was initiated going back to, certainly a seminal 1970 case by the Supreme Court, Walls. But before that, it goes back another 100 years. Separation of church and state. This is supposedly something that the secularists are always bandying about. Of course, no understanding because of the sentimental nature of Bobby's anti-discrimination statement, that you miss the point that this would necessarily introduce the government into houses of worship because, of course, the only way to enforce a stricture that would say you can't support the traditional definition of marriage, for example, would be for the government to enforce it and strip your tax-exempt status, right? So that's government as censor in your place of worship. Game for that? Democrat Socialists? Is your hatred of Trump enough to indulge that? Because let me tell you something. Bobby O may be the only one dumb enough and desperate enough to make that statement, but he's not the only one who subscribes to it on that stage that night. For more on this topic, as well as some of the important cases before SCOTUS this term, including that Detroit funeral home case, we're pleased to be joined by David Cortman, Senior Counsel and Vice President of U.S. Litigation with the Alliance for Defending Freedom. David, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, good for having me on.
So, what about some of the forays into faith that were offered by the likes of Bobby O'Rourke on Thursday night?
It's so remarkable on so many different fronts, you almost don't know where to start. But at the top level is they do it under the guise of anti-discrimination, when actually what they're implementing is discrimination against certain people who hold certain beliefs. And so the fact that they trumpet this inclusiveness, but yet what they do is exclude, groups of people from all different faiths or no faith at all, it seems to be lost on them and is quite remarkable.
Well, I think it's intentional, right? He starts by saying, of course, I believe in the fundamental right to freedom of religion, except for people who disagree with me. That sort of undermines any concept of fundamental right, but that's fine. You have to make the pro forma statement, then you make the hypocritical one, and being a leftist provides you the privilege to do so.
Yeah, and imagine if it was just flip it around, their suggestion that we're going to take anyone who actually supports same-sex marriage and we're going to strip them of tax deductions, credits, tax exemptions across the board, how the left would go crazy, yet that's actually what they're advocating for.
Although I got to say, I appreciate Bobby's unintentional candor or his desperation, whatever the intersection of the two, because you want people to be transparent about what they would actually do and who they actually are, and he gave us a lot of transparency on Thursday night.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that, and I think people, if you're fair-minded, and I think this supersedes politics or left and right or conservative and liberal. If you look as a whole, here's the question I think of: if your group's not in power, do you want this law there, rule there, policy there? And it seems to be if you would say, well, look, I don't want this to happen to me. I may not like what you believe. I may not agree with you. Putting all the inclusivity and all this other stuff to the side for a minute. I wouldn't want the other side to have this power, so I'm not going to give it to my side. And you would think in politics, especially when the winds change so frequently and administrations changes from left to right and who's in power, that you wouldn't want to give the other side that type of authority to do it to you. And yet that's what we keep hearing from the left, and it's just quite remarkable.
Let's move to that Detroit funeral home case, what looks to be a seminal case in determining whether or not trans is a protected class in America. After oral arguments, how should we understand this case is being received by the High Court?
Yeah, I think it was received pretty well. This is another one of those issues where, a couple of questions. Can you rely on the law the way it's been, for 50, 60 years, or does some executive agency get to change it overnight? And then who makes the law? I mean, we generally understand when we go to school and when we're young that the legislative branch is the one who makes the law, not the courts or the executive branch. And in this case, they just changed the law to say, well, the sex, which basically meant man and woman biologically, and by the way, Title VII and these protections for workplace employment were meant to help women, to give them a better chance in the workplace. And now they're trying to redefine that through the courts and saying, okay, that means transgender status, which is some amorphous perception of yourself with not rooted in biology or anything else. And I don't think the majority of the court is going to accept that change.
And just the backstory on the case, again, we've talked about it in this show, but to refresh everybody's memory, this is a fifth-generation funeral home in Detroit. They have an employee that everything was going along fine. Then the employee decided that he was a she and wanted to live out being a she in the employment setting, and that's where the problem arose.
Yeah, and what's interesting is like many places, they have codes of conduct and dress codes. And the funeral home is ministering to grieving people, so they want their employees to kind of just fit into the background, not to be a spectacle, not to be showy, and they want them just to blend in, so it's all about the grieving families. And this gentleman actually agreed to this dress code and had been following it for 6 years before one day he came in and said, I'm no longer going to dress as a man, I'm going to dress and present as a woman. And they said, no, we can't have that here. And ironically, the agency, the EEOC, the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, which is a government agency, they're the ones who first went after this ministry. They have their own dress code for men and women.
Of course.
Yeah, you just don't understand some of this stuff.
Yeah.
Would they be willing, though, to change if one of their male employees suddenly felt like a female?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on who's in office at the time. And so this started under the previous administration, and then the new administration said, no, this is wrong because you're changing the law. You can't do that. Congress has to do it, and then went back to the original meaning, which was the right thing to do.
I know this is always dangerous business to try to divine a justice's perspective from the questions he or she asked during all arguments, but there was some accounts of the Q&A during all arguments on this case that suggested that Neil Gorsuch, surprisingly, may be a vote in favor of trans as a protected class based on some of the questions that he asked. Is that a misreading or wishful thinking on behalf of some of those op-ed writers?
Yeah, I think it's too much of a spin because they didn't understand what he was getting at. There were some questions about what would a harm be. The other side was saying, well, there would be no harm. And they're like, sure there's a harm if a transgender person wanted to use a restroom of the opposite sex there would be harm there. So he was asking those questions, and I think it's just a wrong spin. And I think what some of the justices, including Justice Gorsuch, were getting at, this has widespread consequences in different types of areas. For example, you've heard about the female athletes in Connecticut, that where you have young girls being displaced, losing scholarship, using victories because young men are now competing. And one of the athletic directors of the state said, for girls, you have a right to participate, but not a right to win. So you look at the repercussions if you allow this to happen. Or there's women's shelters in Alaska where these women have abused and batters, domestic violence, raped, you name it, and where a man comes in and says, I am now a woman, I want to sleep in the same room next to them. And so there's widespread repercussions for these type of considerations, and I don't think the court's going to go for that, because I think there's going to be not only a change of the law, but too much harm for women all the way around.
He is David Cortman, Senior Counsel and Vice President of U.S. Litigation with Alliance Defending Freedom. David, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Individual rates, coverage offerings, and savings may vary, subject to terms and conditions.
If you run a small business, every penny counts. So saving up to 30% on your workers' comp insurance is a big deal. That's why you need a workers' comp rate check from Pi Insurance, now available for small business owners in your area. Workers' comp insurance rates can vary, and yours may have changed since you got your current policy. That's why Pi Insurance invites you to get a quick online quote right from your computer or smartphone. Simply go to piinsurance.com and you'll know in just minutes if you're overpaying. Pi Insurance was built a better way to make workers' comp a no-brainer with an easy online experience and outstanding service. Pi's coverage is A-rated by AM Best and helps protect your business and your employees. Plus, it could save you up to 30%. Do yourself a favor. Find out if your small business is overpaying for workers' comp insurance. Check your rate today and see how much you can save at piinsurance.com. That's piinsurance.com.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest-growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Larry Nora, founder and CEO of U-Store-It, a network of award-winning self-storage facilities in the Chicago area, and a customer of Signature Bank. We've developed over 70 storage centers throughout the city and suburbs, and our business continues to grow. We need a bank who understands the neighborhoods and communities where we are making investments. We found that in Signature Bank. They know this city and its neighborhoods because they are based right here in Chicago. Finding a local banking institution like Signature Bank has been critical to the success of U-Store-It, and we look forward to a long-term relationship.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Tasty Catering invites you to come together this holiday season and celebrate with great food and great company.
Since 1989, Tasty Catering has been planning memorable holiday office parties all over Chicagoland and bringing your team together this year in the spirit of the season.
Their delicious holiday menu at tastycatering.com features all the amazing appetizers and entrees, savory side dishes, and decadent desserts that you'll need for the ideal holiday office party.
From elegant plated dinners to casual company buffets and festive cocktail hours.
Stop by their Elk Grove Village Kitchen and meet their award-winning catering family and sample some of their new and classic holiday menu dishes.
The experienced holiday events team is ready to take you step by step through the planning process, simply and stress-free.
Don't delay. Call Tasty Catering at 847-593-2000 or view the holiday menu online at tastycatering.com.
That's 847-593-2000. tastycatering.com. Holidays. Gather, eat, and enjoy together.
This is a solicitation of insurance by eHealth, an insurance agency offering plans from different insurance companies. No government or Medicare affiliation. The described coverage is not available in all counties or cases. Paid actor portrayal. Hi, I'm Dave Nemeth.
And I'm Barbara Niven. You may have seen us on television talking about an all-in-one card that has the Medicare community talking.
The one that gives you coverage for hospital care, doctor visits, prescription drugs, in many cases, even eyeglasses and dental care.
For for a monthly price that some people find too good to be true.
Except it is true.
One card, one company, one complete package of Medicare benefits designed to help you get well and stay well.
Now that's something worth talking about.
Watch your mailbox or learn more online at onecardnow.com. That's onecardnow.com.
Please don't put this off. It's too important. Visit onecardnow.com for free information with no obligation. That's onecardnow.com.
Where has the year gone? It seems like the holidays sneak up so fast. As you probably know, most retailers do their shopping in the first quarter of the year. However, Fox Valley Coins is gearing up now for the busiest season of the year. Fox Valley Coins wants to buy now before Christmas. Fox Valley Coins is one of the largest coin dealers in the entire Midwest. And with the current price of precious metals, rare coins, and currency, business has been crazy. They buy and sell all major forms of gold, silver, platinum, and palladium, and specialize in rare and collector coins and currency. For larger collections, they'll even make house calls to your home or bank from now through October. Fox Valley Coins is on Route 59, just 1 block north of I-88, at the Naperville-Warrenville border. Online at foxvalleycoins.com. Sure, they'll buy after Christmas, but they're stocking their shelves now. Take advantage. Fox Valley Coins. Online at foxvalleycoins.com. Buying, selling, and appraisals since 1981.
It may not be stomach issues.
For me, it's intense gas, or pain, or diarrhea, sometimes all at once, over and over.
I spent years with the symptoms but could never figure it out.
No matter what I did, they never went away. So I decided to break it down for my doctor and get really specific about my symptoms.
We discovered that exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI, may be the reason for my stomach issues.
EPI is caused by my pancreas. It leads to diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, unexplained weight loss, and oily stools. The symptoms just don't go away.
But EPI can show up with even one symptom.
The good news? EPI is manageable.
But to get to the right diagnosis, you have to break it down for your doctor and get specific about the severity of your symptoms.
Visit identifyepi.com to learn more and use the symptom checker to help change the conversation with your doctor. Brought to you by AbbVie.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, this is an interesting piece in the Journal. You probably don't have a lot of time for TV watching because you're always coaching the little ones, right?
Right. I'm coaching 5 different teams right now.
Did you know this? The Office, which couldn't even be made today,
Right.
is more popular now than it was during its original broadcast run. And that was the number one show because the streaming viewers keep coming back to watch it.
Oh.
Like Kate Galen, who's 21 years old, and she... There it is.
There you go.
She recently finished watching all 201 episodes for the 10th time.
Okay, that's a little aggressive.
It's a little.
Is that another reason why Dan Proft is single?
It's a little obsessive compulsive, but it is interesting. She says, I've connected with those characters. It's tedious to try doing that again with another show. Why would I waste my time when I could watch a show that I know that I love? I got to tell you, it's interesting because I
Did
go
you watch
back.
The Office?
No, well, I mean, I watched it. I watched it when it was on, and I've watched old episodes from time to time, not quite like Miss Galen there, but I go back and watch Frasier.
Oh, do you?
That's a
Yeah.
well-written
Timeless,
show,
intellectual characters,
and
yes.
not also just like not doesn't have to comport with the political correctness, meaning the censorship of the day that is being projected by Hollywood. Cheers is another one. I mean, those are a couple of the best shows that were ever made, so it's tough to top those.
I have to tell you, I think that 70s show is pretty good.
I was never a big fan.
Oh, you got to give it a second try.
Ashton Kutcher didn't do anything for me.
Oh, but it's the other characters that I like better. I don't like Ashton Kutcher.
I mean, it's just interesting, though. I think, so part of it is that these are great shows. They were well written, great character development. And
you don't have that anymore in today's sitcoms. Well, you have This Is Us. I mean, I couldn't watch that. I couldn't. Have you watched
because
that?
it's moral. It's like way too moralizing and sentimental. I mean, it might turn out to be the last sort of truly funny sitcom given the way culture is going, and that's Modern Family.
Oh yeah.
And even that, of course, had political overtones because of the nature of the characters. But Yeah, I don't know.
Modern Family, it's their last season this year.
Give me Frasier, give me Cheers, and I'm good.
Or Give You Death.
That's right. That's my Patrick Henry-esque clarion call.
Thanks so much for making us part of your day. Thanks to Justin Kosick, our technical producer, and Quinn McCarthy, who is
a Hulu binge watcher.
We're back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. Have a glorious day. Now here is Mike Scott.
CPD still investigating a shooting that killed 5. A serial stowaway remains jailed, and the Bulls beat the Raptors. WIND Chicago News Time is 9 o'clock.
Reinforcements in Syria. I'm Chris Foster.